All right. So, what do we got here? You guys hear me? Where am I here? Now I'm jumping around. Okay. There we are. How's everyone doing tonight? You guys all hear us and got a good video quality from us? Should be good here. Yeah, there we go. Videos by Al. He's on it. So, how many people do we got in here right now? We'll go across and see. Oh. We're kind of way delayed here, so I better stop this. I'll stop that for now because I'm getting back. All right, we're good. So yeah, Mike's in the house. Nice to see Mike. So, you guys, people that were here, I'm Skidder Kev, and I got my guest, Andrew Easton of Eastonmade'S wood splitters and processors now. Are you changing that name at all to say processors or just sticking with wood splitters?
I think we're just gonna stick with Eastonmade'S wood splitters and pretty well covers it all anyways. And in the last stream we talked about changing the colors, and they will be orange and blue going forward here. So
yeah, that's what you talked about. So when's that switch gonna come for going to the colors? Like it's still blue going out now?
Yeah, they're blue and silver going out right now, and then come I think we're into the middle of June is kind of the cutoff of the Bell's fiber process. Then after that, they've all been ordered as Eastonmade'S, and we've been really fortunate that actually we've had really good response from a lot of people, and we even have a model we've sent out to guys to kind of show them what the new machines are going to look like. So it's going really well.
That's awesome. One thing while we're getting started here, because I just saw GP Outdoors. He lives near you, I believe. You've visited him a couple times.
Yeah, Gord's not too far from me. I think Gord is pretty well right in between you and me. Honestly, is kind of so. Okay. And Gord's been fantastic. He's been a great supporter, and he's just a super great guy to get along with. Like I couldn't ask for anybody better to represent me. And it goes for all the guys that are that help us out and promote our stuff. Like I've been fortunate to have a really good bunch of guys.
Yeah, I actually just jumped over to his channel because I saw that share he did, and like I only watched one, but there's a lot more I want to check out, and he posts awesome videos. Like he does a great job on them.
Oh yeah, and if anybody's looking for splitter videos, the really nice thing about Gord's channel is he's had just about everything on there. In terms of splitters, in terms of chainsaw stuff, attachments, like it's just a wealth of information there. And Gord's a straight shooter. He tells it how it is, and if anybody's into that kind of stuff, like it's a great resource there. So if you haven't done so yet, go on over and make sure you give Gord a big thumbs up and a subscribe there, because it's definitely worth watching.
Yeah, for sure. In that one video, like he explains stuff so well, and he just comes across great and relaxed, and he's easy to listen to, which is good. It keeps you watching, right?
He actually did a really cool one this morning. It was on I think I'm saying right. It's a Hacks chainsaw boots or Hakes or
yeah. That's the one I watched.
Yeah, like I have a pair of them, and I really liked them, and I was kind of interested to see how it did with the chainsaw, because I've actually years ago I almost sliced my big toe off there, so it was kind of kind of neat to see that.
Yeah, and that's even if that's what they're there for, to wear. I prefer the cutting boot. I find it I wear the Viking black tuss, and I just find like if you're walking on logs, it's way easier than an actual work boot. Like it stays on it flexes a touch to stay on the log better, I find.
Yeah, I find that too. Like I wore my boots pretty well all winter, like hunting and walking to the bush. Like it was just and they were comfortable, and and doing everything. They were really nice.
Yeah. So what I wanted when I started this, I want to give a big thanks to all these guys that shared this. GP Outdoors, Buck and Billy Ray, Ohio Woodburner. I'm missing one here.
I think Adam Barbo was in there.
What was the name again?
Hometown Acres.
Hometown Acres. That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
If I missed you, I'm so sorry. And Mike Cousineau, he posted on the Facebook.
Oh my.
Yeah. Thanks to all you guys for sharing this and pushing this, and Mike doing the Facebook thing. I really appreciate it. I was going to do it like half an hour later, and you just beat me to it, but I very much appreciated it.
My Mikey is normally on the ball pretty good, so that's good.
Yeah, and this Tin Man Saws, great YouTubers helping YouTubers. You know what? That's what we're here for. That's the way I look at it. We're all a family, and I've made a great YouTube family doing these videos and stuff. Like whether it's Andrew, now we do own one of his products, so that's a little bit different. But you know, the people that I've met in the logging interest, like we have lifetime friends that we meet and we hang out back and forth during the summers when we're allowed to cross the border. But yeah, it's great, this YouTube community.
And it's really amazing, like especially for myself, because you get to you get to see everybody's comments, the people that come back like video after video, and the people that you really start to recognize everybody's names, and especially for me being able to go to shows and actually meet the people is really good. Like I'd say the last couple of years been kind of, or like since COVID we haven't done shows, but that was one part of it that was really nice. You'd actually get a put a face in the name sort of thing too, right?
Yeah, for sure. Was there anything you wanted to talk about before we get into questions?
I don't think a whole lot. I just want to say thanks to everybody, like for how much we've taken on here and done, like especially like the customers, the guys at the shop at both places. Like I couldn't ask for much more. Like it's gone not knock on wood, incredibly smooth, the whole thing, and it's because of the support from people around us, and like you said, the community that we're building, it's been really great. So
yeah, I'm just looking. I got some notes on my phone and stuff, so I got questions as well. But before I forget, because Corey Morgan has been asking this a lot, and he's a multi-tech guy, and he wants pizza wood. So I'll ask this. Andrew and Kevin, good afternoon. Andrew, can you please make a splitter for pizza wood, cut, split in one machine? You'd be the first. So I'm guessing he's looking for smaller chunks or shorter chunks. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, most of the time it'd be like 2x2, 1/2 by 1/2, 2x2, like a small diameter stuff. Like Multitech has the grid style splitter on there. I think a lot of guys have pretty good luck with that. I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do it, but you will likely see us come out with something along those lines, or something to be able to do that pizza wood, because that's a huge market that a lot of guys are in, and it's something that we really got to pay attention to. So yeah, that's right on, Corey.
Yeah. So that would be basically a box wedge that you'd be making, like that. That's what I hear guys call them, a box wedge, I guess.
Yeah, and the only issue that we have with actually doing a box wedge on a processor is that Yappa has a patent on that design. I've looked into that, and Yappa has a patent on a box wedge on a processor. I think they call it their perfect split. It actually works really well. Like if you're into a smaller diameter stuff, it works. It really does work really nicely. The Yappa. Quite a bit like what Joe Ohio Woodburner has. I think it's a 435 is the machine that it comes on.
Yeah.
But if you call them Metsa machines, Bob Nelson will help you out with that for sure. So yeah.
So what's Bob's another great guy too. I met him down in Ohio.
Super nice guy.
Great guy to deal with. So what's the difference with that box wedge that Yappa has and Multitech then? Is it the same design, or is there something?
Yeah, no, it's completely different. So like the Multitech one is like a grid, and Yappa is essentially like our box wedge on our splitters. Like it pulls the piece back in.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have seen that.
Yeah.
So I haven't been reading the questions here. Working, here we go. Working hard 14. Hi, Andrew. I have a 1222 on order for April next year. I'm thinking of ordering a conveyor. Will that jack up my order as far as getting the splitter for April?
No, it won't. Normally what we do is we have a couple of buffer spots in the month. We try to plan and schedule so that in the event that somebody orders a conveyor with their splitter down the road or whatever, we can still accommodate that. We'd like to have a couple months lead time just so we can make sure we can fit it in. But for the most part, when somebody puts a deposit in on a splitter or something from Eastonmade, we try to make sure that we can accommodate any need that they have.
Well, there you go. Working hard 14. Better get your order in. As well, if I miss your question and it's been a bit, put it back up, ask again, and I'll try to get to them. Sometimes the questions come in a little bit too quick to get to them. So where's the other one here? Christine, Andrew, thank you for giving the splitter to Buck and Billy Ray.
Well, I really appreciate Buck and Billy Ray taking it. Like that's been a huge thing for us, and Buckin's been a great supporter for us, and he really is an exceptional human being. I've spoke to him lots of times on the phone and communicated with him personally, and I'll tell you, he is a class act. He is a great guy.
Yeah. I think this goes to when we were talking about GP Outdoors. I wear my steel boots every day doing firewood. That's a smart thing.
Yeah, I don't normally go without them. What happened with me, I was topping a bunch of ironwood and dull saw, and you come across the top of them there, and it just, I wasn't very old. I was maybe 16, 15 or 16 when I did it, and it just one of those things you got to learn the hard way. It was just right behind the steel toe, and it was just the wrong spot at the wrong time, I guess.
Yeah. Steve Hawkins, Ohio Woodburner and Outdoors with the Morgans. Both great people and great videos they both do.
Oh, you don't, and again, like appreciate both of those channels, especially like on both sides of it. Like I know Mike's got a wolf ridge, but it's like even having the videos in different stuff for people to see. That's really what's pushing this industry forward. Like the more people that get to see these commercial splitters and how they run, that really helps out. It doesn't for me, it doesn't really matter which brand it is. It's just nice to have that many good people supporting what we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. And having competition is good. It helps you grow the company and to make a better product, right?
It really pushes it forward. Like, we have some really cool stuff that we're coming out with, and if it wasn't from pressure from other competitors, I don't know if it would be quite as you'd be quite as inclined to do it or push forward with it, right? So it's really good for customers and people buying equipment to have that competition, especially the caliber of competition that's out there right now, like with the Wolf Ridge and Timberwolf and Brute Force and all wood. Like there's a lot of companies right now that are building some really cool equipment, and it's really helped progress it, especially if you look at what was available 5 years ago versus today. It's pretty impressive to see the changes.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's great watching them in the firewood groups, watching these guys like Chris Wolf. He's going on, what did he do? 3,000 miles, I think he just did.
Oh yeah.
Like you guys just talking, like he just did a great big delivery round trip.
Oh yeah, and he'll hop in the truck and head out from Wisconsin. And until I got rid of Facebook, I communicated with Chris on it would be a weekly basis at least, if not a couple of times a week. And a really hardworking guy and super nice guy too. Like you couldn't find a better guy to work with and to help me in the industry with, for sure.
Yeah. Old Man in the Woods. Do you have any shows coming up?
There are going to be a handful of shows. I think most of the shows that were from last year are going to be going. Virginia for sure is running in May. We're not going to make it. I don't know if I'm actually going to be doing any shows this year, just because of our current border situation in Canada right now. If we come back into the country, we have to quarantine for 2 weeks at a government hotel, and it's a very difficult thing crossing the border. And it's it's kind of a different way of marketing now too. Like I really enjoy going to the shows and seeing stuff, but the cost of going to a show is extremely high compared to what you can put your money into marketing in other places too right now. So it's kind of one of those things that's kind of on the edge right now. So
Yeah, and I just saw Paul Bunyan was a go for sure. They were taking they were taking exhibitors now, but anything can change as well.
That's for sure.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I think the big thing too with us being Canadian too is just the rollout of vaccines here too, right? Not to get political, but on the other end of the border, I think they're doing a pretty good job making sure people are looked after on that end of it, right? So
yeah, for sure. And we probably will be in that group. We're able to get vaccinated if you want to get vaccinated, but whether we can cross the border and the borders are open, and if you got to do that hotel thing, like it's probably not going to be worth it.
But no, it makes it difficult. Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, there's shows going on. Is there any Canadian shows that you'd be doing, or they're probably all canceled too? I'm guessing.
I think they are. There's really not that many shows in Canada. They used to do a show in Renfrew that was actually just right next door to us here, and they didn't do it last year. And then the only other show we did in Canada was the Ontario Outdoor Farm Show in Woodstock. I think that's what it was called. A great big farm show down there. It's a good show, and I gotta say the guys that put it on do a super good job of it.
Yeah, I thought there was one. Isn't there a big one it's more of a forestry show in Quebec, like Ottawa, Quebec, crosses the border back and forth there?
Yeah. Demo Foresters or something like that. They were going to do it in Gatineau, actually, last year, which would have been great for me because I'm only an hour to Gatineau, which would have been really good. We've done it before, and the Canadian shows are kind of tricky because I don't find we get quite as good a response out of it. We may now that we're better established, but most time when I've done a Canadian show, we haven't got as good of a response out of it. There's one in New Brunswick too as well. So
yeah, that's a big hike for you.
Yeah.
So we have Brian from Mass. I've talked with Jeremy about the new design. I'm here to say that the ones who are buying have seen the new build. How do we go about getting this?
I've seen the new build. Like we have a model on the computer right now for the new design. There's not really a whole lot that's changed besides the offset design, and we've made the cab bigger. But in terms of getting in line to buy one, we normally ask for a 10% deposit on the processor end of it to get the build going. And we do have quite a few of them on order there right now, and hopefully we're going to start building the first Eastonmade'S 60C in another couple of weeks. And it's I don't know where Josh is from, but he's on the firewood groups. He's actually in the very first one. So
okay. I was wondering, I don't know if he was you mentioned about having like a drawing of them people who bought them could see.
Oh yeah. Like if you call the shop right now, we have a model we can send you. Like if somebody wanted to see kind of how they're going to be laid out. There's a handful of things are going to change on them, but nothing too drastic.
Yeah, gives you the basic idea, I guess, kind of where you're going with it.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not a whole lot different than the machine now. It's like I said, the offset design's the big one, and then we're gonna kind of hopefully simplify the joystick on and a handful of little things like that, but nothing drastic.
Yeah. Andrew, what or how got you into making these kinds of machines?
Oh, that's kind of a long story. My father Brent was actually a logging contractor growing up, so that's what Dad did for a living. He had all kinds of equipment, bunters, skidders, log trucks, everything. So I serviced them on the weekend. That was my job, and I was lucky enough to have again really good crew of guys. Dennis Humperson, Bill Elliott. There's a handful of guys that worked here at ENS Logging was my dad's company. They were really good to me and helped teach me help kind of get me mechanically inclined enough that to do this. And then with the Bell's processors, that was honestly a make work project. It wasn't even supposed to be anything more than Dad bought the Bell's in 2006 or 2007, the market crash 2008, and we literally had to find something to do. And it just so happened that the guy wanted a processor, and it kind of snowballed from there. I'm actually a licensed auto mechanic. I have a red seal for an auto mechanic, and I'm a licensed industrial mechanic, a licensed millwright. So, in terms of mechanical stuff, that's I did an apprenticeship for my automotive, and I challenged my millwright exam. I had enough hours in the industrial end that I actually challenged my millwright exam and passed it. So it was kind of a big accomplishment. It's a pretty it's a pretty in-depth test.
Yeah.
So
I think you've answered this already. When are you giving away a log splitter?
Well, I've thought about that a lot. I really want to do it. I think I'm going to maybe for 25,000 or 30,000 subs on the channel, and I think I might try and do something like that in the next 3 or 4 months. Once we get our bearings under our set bells and or the new shop, I'm gonna maybe start leaning that way. And I'm not quite sure what it's gonna be or what machine it's gonna be, but I do intend on doing it because I want to get back to people. I want to make sure that people that may not have an opportunity to actually own these to get the opportunity. You know what I mean?
I got a guy right here. T&J's Outdoors. He's been splitting all by hand. I bet you he's going to be the first one to enter.
Well, that's a lot of work. I can honestly say I haven't swung them all that much, but the little bit that I have, it's not very enjoyable. So
yeah, I have when I was younger, I did a bit.
It's all right for a little bit, but I couldn't. And there's lots of guys that do it. We've even sold splitters to guys that do it all day, every day. Like if you've ever watched a Taylor. I actually have a video on my channel with Taylor the Tree Man. He's up in Centennial Lake, and Taylor Popke actually bought a splitter off me a couple years ago. We're going to deliver his processor for another week or two, but Taylor split all of his wood by hand, and like he didn't do a little bit of wood, like he did hundreds of cords of wood by hand.
Wow!
And he's a super nice guy to boot. Geez, he's class act, second to none.
Yeah. It's from Buchan. Christine Buchan sent her over, and I did see that comment she made in the share. Buchan did. Larry says, Andrew, any thoughts about using electric motors on your smaller splitters?
Yeah, actually, we've had a lot of guys ask. We've just never had anybody pull the trigger on one. Like I don't like when we've priced it out, the cost between electric and gas is pretty close to the same. And if somebody wanted one, I'd have I'd be more than happy to make one, because if somebody were doing it inside or a real production atmosphere, it'd be really handy in that respect.
Yeah, be a lot quieter, I would think too.
Yeah, I would think so. And then you really have zero maintenance. Like there's no gas, there's no oil change. Like you hit the button on the wall and away you go. It's not mobile, mind you, but
yeah.
I even know a lot of guys that have gone that way with processors and had really good luck with it. We have a customer that's over Minnesota, and he's gone with an electric processor, and he really likes it.
Yeah, that's good. I've seen a few, like the pictures going out, a few went out with the electric motors. That'd be interesting to see, because really you'd only have the saw noise coming off them, I would think, and hydraulic pump hum maybe.
Yeah, it's a really bizarre thing, because you're so used to hearing the big loud machine. It's not like you have the noise of a saw cutting, and that's essentially it.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird when you're so used to seeing it one way or the other. And there's lots of places. I think throughout the United States, I may be wrong, but I think there's a three-phase power a lot more readily available there than where we are. Like
Yeah.
for me to get three-phase power down the road to my shop here, it's going to be like astronomical to do it.
Yeah. Bill, he actually emailed me this question, but Palex and the X has the X-aim system for auto centering the splitter head based on the diameter of the log. Any similar features being considered for the Easton-made splitters?
I've thought about this a lot. We have me and Gage and Jeremy have talked about this a lot. Like Gage is the engineer and Jeremy is a salesman. Jeremy's done well. You've talked to Jeremy a lot. So he's been a long-standing employee at Bell's and really sharp guy. And we want to build a better machine, but we also want to have it simple. We want to make sure that down the road you can service it. Because we've looked into different laser measuring devices for the length and stuff like that, and they're available out there, and you can make them reliable, but we want to make sure that something's rock solid. Like we have for the amount of time that it takes to center the wedge on the log, I think you're just as well to do that manually and know that it's going to work every day for you.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the other ones don't. I'm just kind of the whole KISS theory, right? Like if you look at a Mack truck, there's a reason why a Mack truck's built the way it is, right?
Yeah. It would take a couple buttons off or have use on the joystick, but for us, it's not that bad. You can control it the way you want, really.
Yeah.
But I guess the laser X-aim would do the same thing. Scott, any plans on a smaller process along the lines of a Wallenstein WP830 or a Hudson Badger?
No. The reason for that is it's really, really hard to compete in that market and still build something good. The cost associated with building something heavy enough to withstand the daily abuse of wood, and keep the cost down, it's just not there. And then the service end of it too, you have to make sure there's enough meat on the bone that if somebody calls you and needs something that you can look after them. Like that's critical. And I'm not saying that like again, it's just my opinion. Like every time we've tried to build something cheaper, it just comes back to bite us in the arse. So
yeah. James, Mike Morgan actually helped him decide to get a commercial splitter, and then I did the research from there.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. That goes back to people seeing the commercial splitters, seeing how they work. Like whether it be mine or a competitor's, it's just really great to have guys like that in the industry that are propelling it forward at such a rate and doing such a good job of it.
Yeah. Brock Orchards just want to comment on the efficiency of how helpful Jerry and Henry were helping me in the new splitter and going from the 2228 to the 37D. They're awesome to deal with and you have a great team, I'm guessing, is where that went. 37D, that's a new diesel splitter too, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a new diesel splitter, Kubota powered. We actually have probably the end of next week we'll have a new video up on it. And like I said, Jerry, Henry, Jeremy, Gage, Jen, everybody around me. I've been so fortunate to have good help and people that are there to work together and are so focused on customer service. It's just great. Like it really helps out. Great. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it like helps sell machines too, having that service as well, right? To be able to call up and you get that good, like me calling. I've called Mike a bunch of times and like instantly helping me out and getting me fixed up.
Yeah, like and we're like in that's kind of the whole team here. Like, they're just great. Like we're really fortunate to have the people that we have to help us out here.
Yeah. Fever Streams just ordered my Eastonmade Ultra. Can't wait for it to show up and 2021, but that's okay.
No, you're gonna love it. The Ultra performs incredibly well, and it's the design of it's really simple. That's the beauty of it. Is it's a simple splitter that's just built to run and run and run. And we have all kinds of guys that run them on commercial, making commercial applications, and they have tremendous luck with them.
Yeah. Mark Ray, I think this was brought up in the last one. The Galtech valves are superior to the Prince, and that gives you the competitive edge. Chris is a great guy with Wolfridge.
Yeah, the Galtech valves help out a lot. They really are a lot better valve. It took us it was a big commitment on our end of it to get that project kind of up off the ground and going, but at the end of the day, it was well worth it. It does help give us a lot better product. And if you looked at if you've been looking at Wolfridge, I think their higher end machines now have a similar valve on them. So
yeah,
it's really helping change the industry. So
Craig Milligan, I love the new splitter design with the conveyor built onto it. Looking forward to seeing your videos on it.
Yeah, we've run a hand
brand new
brand new. Like it honestly, it's still in the yard. It's out back. We didn't get a chance to play with it there this week, but Pierre, geez, I wish I could pronounce Pierre's last name, but he bought it. Super good guy, but he's waiting patiently for it, and it's gonna be a really good outfit. Like it performs really well and works. It works far beyond my expectations. We just have a handful of things we want to tweak on and finalize and get in line for that, but it does work super, really good.
Yeah. Andrew Scott, where are these being built?
Perth, Ontario.
Yep. That's about 4 hours from where we are, our yard anyway. So we're not too terribly far from you.
No, and geographically, we're north of Kingston, west of Ottawa, and if you're on the other side of the border, we're straight north of New York State. Like it's New York State, and I-81. If you could just keep driving north on 81, you land on my doorstep.
Yeah. I got to give this guy Nuts 319. If you haven't, go check out his YouTube channel. This guy's a logger down in Pittsburgh. He's near Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This guy's an awesome guy, and he is one of these friends I was talking about that I go down and visit all the time. So give him a watch there. He does some really good stuff. And we got Logger John here too. He's like right around the corner from you, and he's got a YouTube channel as well. So check him out. T&J's Outdoor. I had 80 subscriptions.
It's a big commitment.
Yeah.
Like hats off to you guys that go at this and are consistent at it. I think at the end of the day it pays off, but I think a lot of people start this YouTube thing and think it's going to be just an easy peasy thing, but it's a lot of work. You really got to kick the horse with it.
Oh, it is. And like another YouTuber here, Dirty South logging in South Carolina or North Carolina, doing clear cuts down there at Pine. He's got some pretty good stuff up there too. And Chase, this is what we got a lot on the first one. Both got to make these live feeds a regular thing. They're very good, which we're trying to do. That's kind of our goal. Monthly we talked about, but lives and businesses and stuff like that do get in the way, but it'd be great if we could keep that going.
Yeah, I think a monthly thing would be great. I really enjoy doing this and seeing everybody's comments and feedback, and it's really good.
And it helps, if people got questions, if they can't directly contact you, they can ask them here, and we can just hang out too and give somebody else on a Saturday night.
I really enjoyed the last one. Like we're literally sitting here shooting the shit, having a beer. Like it doesn't get much better than that on a Saturday night. That's what life's all about, right? So
yeah, exactly. So if anybody's looking, I guess he got pictures of it. You don't mind people sharing that? obviously.
No, that man there, Gage Arsenal, is the brains behind the operation of the Bell's firewood process.
Okay.
Right. That's the he's the head designer, chief cook, everything. He does it all, Gage, and he's actually the guy who designed the whole machine. Like I would love to take credit for it, but it's not me. It's Gage that's doing it.
So
Honest to God.
So that's who people can bug if they want to.
Yeah, if you want to see the new Eastonmade processor, you call Bell's on Monday, and Gage can get you out the pictures. And he'll be able to look after you. And like I said, he's kind of the head cheese in there between him and Jeremy and Mikey. And like I said, a really super duper great bunch of guys in there. That everybody will help you out for sure.
Yeah. He needs to make that cup holder a little bit bigger. My Magellan just doesn't fit in the one in the Bells.
Well, that's something for Gage for Monday.
This was asked. GP Outdoors sent me this as well as James. GP's video with the Ultra Plus 4-way. The wood seems to real splay rather than run through the wedge. Would a smaller change in the angle in the wedge prevent that? Or would a larger pusher help? Which was GP's question on this as well. When I'll do this as a 2-question. When you do a second split and you stack them up, sometimes it's not high enough. The wedge isn't high, or the pusher isn't high enough to push that through.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, it's a pusher. The wedge itself, the design of it, isn't the issue. We have to have the wings angled up just a little wee bit, but it doesn't affect that end. If the reason they're angled up so the bottom pieces can get out of the way, and we have the smaller pusher on it, just so if you have your hand on top of the block of wood, let me see if we can do this right, and then the pusher is pushing against it, that your hand won't actually get in between the block, just because it's so fast. And I think Gord actually has a video coming out tomorrow. The height of that wedge makes a really big difference. And normally what I tell guys to do, because the pusher can't get your hand, if you just hold your hand on top of the 2 top splits, you can normally guide it through the wedge pretty easily. So if you watch the videos of me doing that's how I would normally run it.
Well, okay. That hopefully that answers your question there, James. And I don't know if he was changing the angle, because I don't think you'd want to do that either. Changing the angle on the actual cutting edge, that like the point, bringing it in a bit, but I think you want to push that out to give it that relief when it's going through the splitter, right?
Yeah, and we've tried it a handful of different ways. Like you gotta have it kind of be a bit of a gradual. Like you can't have it be really blunt. You gotta have it be a little bit thinner. And then I've even we've cut an awful pile of wedges apart. Like Gage will tell you, and same as Jeremy. Like, and in my experience, like I've had guys talk about like raking their wings ahead, and it doesn't make near as big of a difference as what you think it does, guys. Like the biggest thing to remember when you're making a wedge is that you'll never ever make a piece of wood smaller.
Yeah, I watched a very good that chipper guy. If you've ever watched him, he's in Michigan.
I'll have to check him out.
Yeah, they do a lot of. They're basically chipping popple for debarking. They're running Morbar 2355s, I think they are, flails.
Yeah.
So they're chipping for that. Anyway, they're his father-in-law, I believe it is, Mike Cook, owns the business. He built his own wood splitter. And it was very interesting listening to him talk, because he did this building a wedge, and he found that having the wings farther back, which you guys do already, you need to get that wood opening up to allow those wings. It didn't matter how many ton cylinder you had on it, you couldn't push it through if it was coming right up trying to get through all of them at once.
Yeah, there's no possible way you'd ever do it. And like that's kind of the like you'll see on the new processors, like there's lots of companies that are advertising like 50, 60, 70 ton splitters, and we're gonna like all these Eastonmade's will have the same 40 ton splitter on them, and that's lots. If you have that wedge, if you have the wedge built right, it doesn't really matter what wood you're gonna put through it. It'll go through it. That's far more important than how much push you have.
Yeah. Go through here, hammering through. Why is the 24D faster than the 1222?
Because it has a bigger pump on it. So with the 24 diesel, we actually run the 2228 pump on it. So you have a 28 gallon minute pump on it. That being said, Steve, you'll see we're actually trying a different style of pump on the splitter right now that's significantly bigger, a better setup. So we should have we actually wrecked one the other day. You don't learn from not doing, but we have another one there. It should be here on Monday. A new pump to try on the 37D, and you will see how well it performs. A different style pump, different plumbing a little bit, and it'll really perform.
And we talked about this a little bit too the other day, and the pumps, it's not always about horsepower, it's about pumps and setting the pumps up right too as well.
Yeah.
That because the new machines, they're going to be 74 horse.
Yeah, they will. Yeah.
And then they're running different pumps than we're running on the 4000 now, right?
Yeah, so that's right. So like on the 4000 you run right now, it runs a stack of gear pumps. So like the pump is a long pump on it, where this one will be two pumps, a lot smaller, and they're going to be piston pumps, pressure compensated, load sense. Like they're going to be if you look at almost any other piece of equipment in the world right now, they're running that, an excavator, skid steer, whatever. In this market, most companies are running just a standard kind of gear pump on them, nothing too sophisticated. But we're hoping to again change that and step forward with the equipment that we're building. So
yeah. Now these 74 horse, are they all going to be? They'll be emissions too, the tier 4. Or are they
you're going to be tier 4, but that 74 horse won't have any DEF on it. You're just under that threshold.
The DPF filter then.
That's exactly it, and it's kind of neat too, because like when you're looking at these diesel engines, a little bit of horsepower goes a long way. There's no replacement for displacement, really. Like the 67 horse Cat to the 74 horsepower Kubota, there's actually 130 foot-pounds of torque difference in those two engines. So that's your holding power. And you wouldn't think there'd be that big of a gap. You're just in that little bit of horsepower, but there's a huge difference in the two engines.
And that's Kubota, you're saying, it's got the more torque, right?
Yeah, and Cat does offer a 74 that's in that range, but just with everything that's going on with Cat, I don't. The consistency hasn't been there for us. They're not a bad engine, and we don't have too many issues. But when we're manufacturing things, stuff has to be cut and dried.
Yeah, I hear you. Andrew, do you know?
I know exactly where Stanleyville is, as a matter of fact.
Gauge. You can hear the pumps over the motor. Real cool to watch operating. And he's talking about that electric motor, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We're kind of a little bit behind on the comments here, so.
Like Gauge has been a part of all those projects, honestly. Like I haven't had a whole lot to do with the processor end of it. Like they're still running the same hydraulic system, kind of electrical system, but Gauge and Tyler Atkinson, Evan Noonan, and Mel, like all those guys are the guys that actually designed this stuff.
Yeah.
Me and Brent might have a couple ideas here and there, but they're the brains of the operation.
Mark Ray, now that you have a few months using the Briggs versus Honda, what's the experience been since some units are now being used in the field?
The Briggs is a better motor.
Yeah.
Like a service, everything's been drastically better. No, not to put down the other guys. But I've been really impressed with the Vanguard motors, like how they start and how they're staying together. Like we've been having really good luck with them. I'm glad we finally kind of opened our eyes and seen it. They've been really good.
Yeah, I do like Honda, but Briggs Stratton, they've been around a long time too, just like Honda. So I think you can't
Yeah.
really go wrong with either. But
Oh, and I'm a diehard Honda guy. Like I had Honda 4-wheelers and dirt bikes and stuff like that. A diehard Honda guy, and after kind of seeing the difference in how they pull, how they start, how they're set up, like how they're just configured, they're just a lot nicer setup. And in terms of service, there's a Briggs guy on every corner. And it doesn't matter where you go for, you get serviced.
yeah, I like Briggs. You can probably go basically any
Yep.
dealership really you can go to. And Honda, they went to that now here in Ontario or Canada. They went to that giant, like it was their super stores where you bought all the
Yeah.
Honda equipment just in one store, right? I don't know if that's
Yeah.
changed since, but
And that's what we found. The handful of problems that we've had with Honda, it was really difficult to get serviced. Where like honestly, like most small engine guys are Briggs certified guys. Like even Jim Bob down the road in his garage is likely Briggs certified that he can repair it under warranty for you if
yeah.
anything goes wrong. And I would think that would be few and far between.
I'm just gonna jump here because let you see where did he go? I'm not gonna look too long for this. Anyway, Joe from Ohio, Woodburner, he's here.
Oh, g'day, Joe.
I don't know. I can't find the comment. Guy flipping through them. We're behind, but anyway, it's all right. No worries.
I'll quit rambling on so much.
No. I think people love listening to it. Like, just where I'm going through the list. So, Dirty South. What color is a mirror? Silver. Newfie Chrome. And my buddy Troy. We see him every year down at Bunyan, and they always bring us candied pecans. Oh, they're so good.
Oh, that'd be delicious.
They're great people. And anyway, Troy, if you're still here or watch it again, thanks, and miss you guys. Hopefully, maybe this year we'll get to see you down there. Hope everybody's doing good. For the Eastonmade processors, what's the logic for the numbering scheme?
The circular saws is the diameter of the blade. So the 60C is a 60-inch blade, and then the 20 or the 48C is a 48-inch blade. Excuse me. And then the bar saws is a diameter of the cut. So the 22 MB and EB are both 22-inch, and then the 18 is an 18-inch cut. The difference between the EB and the MB is one has electronic controls and one's manual.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in those two machines. The price reflects that.
Well, the new processors will be like the old ones, the hydraulic for the infeed and up and down on the bar, and then electric, or will the joystick change a bit?
Oh, if you buy an electric, like on a 48C or 60C,
yeah, on
it's
the new ones that are coming out,
it's all fly by wire. Everything's fly by wire on it. So like it's just got
be a little bit smoother.
It'll be hopefully smooth as glass is what I'm hoping for. Even the saw coming up and down on the splitter, the saw coming up and down is cushioned both sides of it.
Yeah.
And then the geometry of the saw, which is kind of neat too. Well, if you look at a lot of circular saw machines, like the saw on them is always on a tilt, so there's a lot of shaking them when they run. So what we've tried to do is we've tried to lengthen out the saw arm and then make it so it's a smooth swing in between, and then there's a cushion on both ends of it, and there's a sensor on it to know where it is. So we should be able to make the machines incredibly smooth running.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Chuck, Andrew, any chance of a 2-part system, aka buck saw, to pair with the Eastonmade'S splitter?
I don't know. I haven't done them in the past because it's too close to a processor, and I didn't like when I left Bell's. Originally, I told Dad I wouldn't dabble in the processor kind of things. But then again, that goes back to the other part of it: is it's hard to build something that would be inexpensive enough to make sense to run with the splitter, and still do a good job on. Like I would think if I do it, it would be something that somebody would run their own chainsaw in and be heavy enough to take the abuse, and then that way you can actually keep the cost down on enough that it makes sense for a guy to purchase it. When you get into hydraulic chainsaws and circular saws, you're into big money and big engines and stuff to make them actually perform the way they should. So,
and another, I'll have to read another question because I did have that other one. Firewood Providers Northwest. Good evening, Andrew, from the Pacific Northwest.
well, thanks a lot.
Beaver Stream. Firewood Providers Northwest. Sorry. Any reason why you would ever place a small diesel engine on an axis?
You'll likely see it in the future, honestly, guys. Like before too long. It's just a natural progression there, and now that we have a handful of those diesel engines out there and running, I know how they run smooth, like really smooth. So you'll see us do that, and then you'll likely be able to see the speed of the axis increase a wee bit from that. So you will see that.
Mike DeBoer, I think he's got a 6,000. Anyway, would you consider running Kubota or Deere engines on the processor? And this, we talked about this on the last live stream, but things were unsure. But I think you've sealed the deal on these Kubotas now.
Yeah, we're definitely trying Kubota. Like we were running the Perkins Cat engines on them, and just like I said, we've had a lot of inconsistencies with them, and I don't know if it's on our end of it or if it's on their end of it, but I know I've got to do something to, again, draw a hard line and move forward with it. So that we have chose to go with Kubota, and there'll only be two Kubota engines offered on the processor. It's going to be a 74 horse and 115. That'll be that'll cover just about everything.
Yeah, nothing wrong with going with Kubota either.
No, I think I've had tremendous luck with them. Like we have one in our air compressor out back, and honestly, I hate to say it, but we're really not maintenance guys around here, and it starts every single day and runs. It doesn't. We haven't ever touched it. We've had it for 3 years, and it just runs.
The most neglected machine in the shop.
I'm sure they are, and especially dust, like because we sandblast with ours, right? Yeah. So it's always sucking in dust, like but it runs every single, doesn't ever skip a beat.
Purple Collar Life, been really impressed with the Eastonmade that Hometown Acres has been using, the axis. I love that he can custom select the piece size, perfect for bundles.
And that's what the axis is really good for. Like if you have a clientele that especially the pizza wood stuff, like the one gentleman was asking there, it really works well for that kind of stuff. It's not as quick as a horizontal splitter, but you can make whatever size pieces you want with it consistently every time. You can even take like a really ugly looking wood that would normally pass by. And Joe is a prime example, like Joe from Ohio Woodburner. If you haven't been watching that, you're interested in that restaurant wood, Joe is a great resource for that if you're interested in that. It's value added firewood.
Yeah, and he's running that access.
Yeah, he runs it, and then Yappa. I think it's a 365. He has a smaller processor in, and it's just a really nice setup. Like Joe does a nice job of it, and he goes right into the business end of things too. Like if you're in the firewood industry or looking to get into it or dabbling in it, you got to check out Ohio Woodburner.
Yeah, and he's got awesome channel too. Explains very well.
Really good.
Yeah. Savage Firewood Processing and Sales. Hi, Kevin.
Well, it
Agent
shouldn't be too.
my 1222.
Well, it shouldn't be too long, Brad. I don't think. Yeah, Brad's actually right down the road from me. He's in the big city of Calabogie, Burnstown, actually, right on the Madawaska.
Oh wow!
So he's literally just right down the road from me. Brad is.
So GPA Outdoors, I found that adjusting the height of it makes a big difference on the 4-way. So that's holding the wood down question.
But I think Gord has a video, if I'm not mistaken. I was speaking to Gord earlier, or last night. I had a good conversation with Jordan. Gord, sorry. He said he's going to have a video coming out tomorrow morning on it. Again, it's well worth the watch. And if you haven't subscribed to Gord's channel, it's well worth doing it. It's a wealth of knowledge there.
Oh. So, Elite Outdoors. Kevin, can you share a couple of the main downfalls you see on the 4000? And could Andrew maybe explain the differences should be on the Eastonmade processors? Thanks for doing this again. Well, downfalls. We run, and I think I've talked to you a bit about this, but this has changed in pumps, which you already brought up. The power we run our 32-foot conveyor, our drum tumbler, and attached conveyor all off the processor. When you're running sugar maple on it, you almost have to shut the conveyors off to run your live deck to get that to feed. Now this is probably going to be different with those new pumps on them. So I'm guessing that's that problem.
Yeah, that'll fix that problem for sure, because what we have for that is there's one central pump for the whole system. So if one particular section needs more flow, we can send it there. So it's really good for that. In a situation where you're running that much stuff, we'll be able to cater to that and do a nice job of it and make sure it runs well.
For us, we haven't had a lot of problems like that conveyor we talked about earlier with that.
Yep.
The original single chain conveyor we had problems with at the beginning. We got it figured out and we're fine with running it now. We've got almost 1,800 hours on it now. But you're changing that whole conveyor design too, right? It's going to be
we should be able to make that a whole lot smoother. Yeah.
It will no longer. You guys aren't doing a swivel conveyor anymore, or is that?
I don't think we are. No, because what we find is a lot of guys that are doing a swivel configuration are doing it sort of in the same respect as you guys are, where they'll run up into the tumbler, and then the other conveyor will do the swiveling, right?
Yeah.
Because we find a lot more guys that are buying the equipment or buying the disc screeners with them or buying some sort of cleaning device on the end of them to help with that, because it does go a long ways, especially on the other end of it when it actually delivers to the customer, right? So
will that attached
conveyor it saves a lot of labor.
Yeah. Will that attached conveyor be set farther back then on the machine? Or will
I'm not quite sure where it's going to be in reference to yours, Kev. I really don't know where it's going to be in that respect, but I think we're going to be able to do a really nice job of it. So
looking forward to seeing how that turns out anyway. Eric or Elite Outdoors, hopefully that answers your question. If I get any more of this, or if I think of anything other, I'll bring that back up. But
and don't be shy, Kev. Like
the shaking on the machine, that's probably something else that you've already said you are addressing to make that smoother, but that's noticeable now. I guess I notice it more now for some reason. I don't know why, but
and as you run a machine more, you notice those kinds of things, and it's no different than us building them, right? Like the more feedback we get from people, the more people we talk to, the better understanding of what we have to actually build for you guys, right?
And this is my biggest downfall of this, because I'm going to stick on this, and we talked about this as well. 12-inch, running 12-inch, we run a fair amount of it. Wood falling from when you cut it, dropping down into the chamber, doesn't always want to drop in down right, and it will be skewed. You'll have to go in with the picaroon and flip it up to get it to go through. That, you guys are you're changing the design of that. Will it have a flipper?
Yeah, so like what'll actually happen with that is the one log cradle will move. So like there's a couple of different ways that we do it now. There's a finger that comes up to the bottom, and there's a couple of rollers on, but the actual one log cradle will move kind of out of the way. So I think you'll be able to position a piece of wood pretty easily with that. And the nice thing about it is it's going to be on the joystick. That's going to be one function. It's going to be on the face of the joystick that you can just move, because it's something that's critical that if it does fall in crooked or whatever, you want to be able to adjust without having to flip a bunch of different switches or whatever, right? So
yeah.
That's a big thing for me, because we're actually taking, like on your machine, like your saws on the joystick, the conveyors are on the joystick, the wedge, and like what we're doing with the new ones is your live deck is going to be on the joystick. There's going to be a toggle. Your catch plate, like to actually tip the piece of wood, so you will have the option to either leave the catch tray up and lower it like some of the other machines, or just leave it down. And then the wedge will be a proportional control, so instead of being like bang on off, it'll be adjustable on your thumb, the smooth or whatever. And then the actual log cradle movement. So the four functions that are on the joystick that'll be on the face of it is going to be something you'll use all the time. And the conveyors, all that kind of stuff will be on a separate panel, because you turn them on once and they're on, right? So you don't need to have them kind of cluttering up your controls. So
yeah, so hopefully that answers my questions on that too. So like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing this new design, and hopefully that fixes that 12-inch, because 12-inch can be such a pain. 16, it's fine. Like you can hammer through 16, no problem, but 12, once you go 12-inch, I don't know. I don't get why it does that.
Yeah, I've heard that too, and I'm not quite sure why, but I'm hoping that we can alleviate that and then make it like the biggest goal for me and the team at Bell's and Eastonmade here is to make the machine as smooth as we possibly can, and like make it so it lasts as long as it possibly can. That's the whole. Like we know for sure that we can build the fastest firewood processor. Like there's no issue with that. Like your engine and pumps, we can do whatever, but we want to make sure that it is a smooth, consistent machine. That if it makes 3/4 an hour one day, it makes 3/4 an hour the next day, and you hopefully you can set your watch by it.
Yeah, and that's what most guys want. They want a fast machine. They want a fast and productive.
That's exactly it.
No point in cutting a piece of wood fast if you can't hit that cycle button to cycle the splitter head, the wedge, right?
Yeah.
So that's good. Speed is good. Andrew, do you know of any Bell's processors in the Southeast United States? Who should I talk to about this?
Oh, Ricky. It's good to hear from you, Ricky. I haven't heard from Ricky in a long time. I was actually thinking about him. Ricky made me up a mall, and I'm gonna get a shadow box built for it. I'm gonna hang it on the wall at Bell's. So, Ricky, that's exactly where your mall's gonna go, is right in my office. On that note, there should be lots of them in around Atlanta. Like I would think that if you call the shop, Ricky, and talk to Jeremy or Gage, one of those lads would be able to kind of get you in contact with somebody that has one in your neck of the woods, anyways.
Yeah, do you guys got any in Florida as well? I think you do, don't you?
I don't know if there's if there's any processors in Florida. I would assume there is. Like I know I have quite a few splitters in Florida, but I'm not quite sure on the processor end of it.
James, how are the changes to the shop going?
Freakishly smooth. Knock on wood. Knock on wood. Like I'm probably sounding a broken record here, but like the guys in at Bell's, like Jim's a project manager in there, and we're so fortunate to have him and the other people in the building. Jim and the Rob's a shop foreman in at Bell's. But these are both guys that actually work at a local factory, Grenville Castings here, and they have so much experience, and they're so like they're just a wealth of knowledge. So like having these guys to help through this transition and help with the size of the project that we've taken on. Because if you walked into the shop 2 months ago and walked into it now, you wouldn't think it was the same building. Like it's completely changed around, especially equipment coming in, and it's so great to have the people there to help. And like I said, it's going really smooth. Like the odd time we have a hiccup, but it's normally pretty minor. So
Now, you haven't got the Eastonmade guys, the wood splitter guys moved in there yet, have you?
no, the biggest thing we're waiting for is just the paint equipment in there.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be I was hoping it was going to be mid-May. I think it's going to be mid-June, end of June before the Eastonmade guys are in there. But that's kind of the timeline on that. Like we have most of the welding stations are just about getting wired there now, and we should be almost like by July we'll be kind of wide open in there. So
yeah, well, that's that was actually one of my questions, how that was going there, getting the shop set up. GP, he said, have you seen any, or hasn't seen any issues with it? 2 pole starts every time, even in the colder winter months. And that's on that Briggs and Stratton.
that's on my Vanguard. It's pretty neat. Like I don't know whether it's like a different gear reduction for the pole on them. Like obviously the 1222 comes with electric start on it, but the 14 horse that doesn't, if you bought a 916 without electric start on or whatever, the pull, like just to pull it over is so much easier and smoother, and it's hard. And then I don't know if you would notice unless you pulled a lot of the Hondas and then a lot of the Briggs, but it's pulling over the 14 horse Briggs is about the same as pulling over probably the GX 270, maybe even like maybe in between the GX 270 and 200 Honda. So kind of in between there. It's not a hard pull, and it's really smooth.
Yeah, everything's these days too in these companies like Briggs and Honda, and well, you'd have Kohler and stuff. Like everything's getting updated, right? Because this is what people want: ease of starting, longer lasting, like everything, right?
Yeah.
Where is it? Firewood Private Northeast. He had several machines with a Predator engine. Any ideas in using them on your machines?
No, not a chance. And I'm sure they are a great engine. Like there's a lot of Honda clones out there that are actually really good. That function well. I'm absolutely certain of it, 100%. The biggest thing for us is service down the road. If something goes wrong, I need to make sure the customer can pull it into the Briggs dealer or the Honda dealer and make sure that it gets fixed.
And the other thing I see as a business where you want to be, up here, you don't want to be running not to knock a knockoff, but you want to run
That's exactly it. Like we build a premium product. We want to make sure there's a premium engine on it. And like I said, there's not like it's funny. I have a Power Fist. I had a Chaparral, an old Chaparral sled here that had a Power Fist 13 horse engine in it. It's like a Power Fist, like a Princess Auto engine, and it started up year after year, no problem at all. And I didn't expect that. I thought it was going to be a pile of junk, but it was actually a pretty good engine. And but again, it's a premium product. We got to have a premium product on it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's like everything that's on it, right?
Yeah.
And Jeremy seemed to notice. He likes that.
Time showed up. He's been sitting there drinking his Michelob all night.
Watching on the big screen.
Yeah.
Okay, Tommy, can you get a single wedge for 511 or will it go through Knotty Elm with the four-way? And how many tons is the 511?
The 511 is around 20 tons. It's a little bit less than the 1222 and 916. We can do a single wedge on it. That's no worries at all. What we will do for a lot of customers, which is pretty neat, which I should actually do a video on, is we will do a four-way wedge that has enough knife on the top of it that it'll act as a single. And that way you're not pulling them in and out. And we only charge a couple $100 for it. So if you are looking if you do a lot of really ugly looking wood, it's worth having that four-way wedge. We just call it a tall four-way, and it adds I think 10 inches to the top. But it looks half ridiculous in the machine, but I'll tell you, if you're into really ugly stuff, it works nice.
Actually, I'd like to see the video of that. That sounds like a pretty neat idea.
No, it works well. Like I think, like when the wedge, like when the four-way is all the way up, I think it's about 33 or 34 inches from the beam to the top of the wedge. So tree service stuff and oversized rounds, it helps bust them down really quick.
Corey Morgan, one last question. Three-phase lasts a lot longer with the same power than a diesel?
Lasts a lot longer. In terms of longevity of the motor, I would think probably the same. Maybe a little bit longer. I honestly don't know enough about it one way or the other to comment. Like a well-maintained diesel engine will last a long time, where electric motor really doesn't need a whole lot of maintenance. So,
yeah. Which is one advantage of it. You know, if you are stationary and you got the power, three-phase there, you know, you're not doing oil changes. You don't have to worry about the air filters.
No, it really is a lot less maintenance. It really is.
Now, do the pumps direct drive right off that shaft, the main shaft?
Yeah, it's a very similar bell housing to what we run on the splitters, even for the processors.
Okay, I remember my question I was going to ask because the next comment is kind of similar to it, so I'll just wait. But so you and your dad, we discussed before, you know, family, son, dad, don't always get along, and that's why you went off on your own. Now, what you're changing the 248s and the 48 and 60, is this what you wanted to do before and you couldn't? Or is this something you came up with?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I've always favored the offset design, and it was just I think at the end of the day, it was the customer that actually talked us into doing it inline instead of offset. It wasn't really a disagreement between me and Dad. The biggest thing between us is that we both have the same end goal. Ultimately, like our goal at the end of it's the same, right?
Yeah.
We have two completely different paths to get there. Dad's a lot more high strung than me. I'm pretty well laid back. I don't get excited about a whole lot of anything, and any of the people around me will probably tell you the exact same thing, that I don't. I'm not a panic guy, even a little wee bit. And Dad's done really well. Like if you need something done and happening, Brent's the guy for the job. He will make it happen time and time again. And that's the biggest difference. Is I'm proactive and he's more reactive. Would I guess be the best way to explain it, I guess. So
yeah. Well, that's what I was curious. You know, was that your dream you wanted to build before you left, and now that you're back, you can do it the way you wanted to, right? Even though the way
essentially, yeah.
Brent built it, like he built a heck of a machine, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. Like they've done an incredible job with what they've had to work with, and they've built an amazing business with it, especially for what we had. Like it's the people that were there at the beginning will tell you it's pretty impressive. See where it started and where it went, and like I said, that was the biggest thing, is we're just two different personalities. The same goal at the end of it, just different paths.
Yeah. So this is the question that got me thinking. James, is your dad happy so far with the changes that you're making to his baby?
Yeah, 100%. Dad is 100% behind me on it. I couldn't ask for any better. And that was kind of the big thing going into this if I were going to make the investment in bells, it was going to be my investment, and as long as I didn't quit paying him, sort of thing, then it was going to keep continuing on at that. But he's incredibly supportive. I think he's I think the poor lad's pretty nervous about it. Would be kind of the thought. But now that we were a couple of months into it and seeing how everything's rolling, he's a lot more comfortable with it. For sure, it's no different than any father. The young lads have a couple of small four-wheelers, and just watching the young lads on these little four-wheelers running around the shop, it's about enough to make me puke. And I think dad's kind of the same way with me, where you kind of just got to let them go, right? So
yeah. Do you have your neighbors a couple doors down there watching with binoculars, seeing what's going on now?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on down there. Honestly, I heard it sold, but I don't know if that's hearsay or what. The head cheese was there the other day, and a good bunch of guys. I waved to them, and I get along great with them. But I don't know what they're thinking down there at all. Honestly.
Nick, is your model going to be direct order, or do you have a dealer model for sale? Have some ideas.
I don't know. Right now, we are too far ahead with the splitters to consider having dealers. We wouldn't be able to service a dealer network at all right now. We're booking into November of 2022 for a log splitter right now. So we are incredibly busy. We do have one dealer in the UK. It's Ian Gregory from Logs and Saws. Ian does a really great job. Like I said, if you're in the UK, he would be the only actual dealer that we have for our products, and it's he's really good at looking after logistics end of it and making sure stuff gets there and on time, and customers get looked after. In terms of North America, I don't think you'll see it happen. And the other end of it too is I want to make sure the service is good. The world's only so big right now. Like if somebody needs a part from Eastonmade, we can normally get it to them in a day or two, and like overnight if need be. So I want to make sure that we can service people. And I don't want to have to go to a third party and them not get along or whatever. I want to make sure if somebody calls needs something, they're going to get it.
Yeah, and understandably, it's sometimes dealer networks can be a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
especially when it's like right there. Why can't I get a part?
That's exactly it. And I kind of want to keep it small, like in that respect, smaller. That when you call this, you're talking to somebody that knows what they're doing, what's happening, and how to get you looked after. That's probably a bigger concern to me than anything.
And I do see his question. Guys could drive to a dealer. Hey, I want that one sitting right there, and guys PDI it and ship it out the door, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, big time.
Each has got their advantages and disadvantages, right?
Yeah, they do for sure. And like when we first started getting into this, it was definitely something I considered. But as we continue to grow and do it, the price of machines would have to go up considerably to have a dealer network that would actually the other guy make money on it too, and everybody be successful at it. Like if anybody's ever tried to actually build a wood splitter this caliber, they'd understand how much is actually involved in doing the cost of it. So
yeah, that was actually a really good question.
it was.
And here is another great question. I think I know the answer to this, but I'll let you answer this. Andrew, I've been trying to save enough money to buy an Access machine and wondering if there's a payment plan in place with good credit rating.
We do have financing available for them. I don't know what the terms are on them. I don't know what the payments are on it. We will normally send it to our finance company, and they will deal with in that respect. That being said, we do have a lot of guys that'll put the $500 deposit down, and then they'll send 500 each month or whatever till it's paid off. When it's paid off, we'll ship it. And we've had quite a few guys do that, and it's worked out well for everybody. So if that's something anybody wants to do, we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to do it. 2 monthly.
Like for sure.
You might as well pay.
Yeah, that's exactly. You pay a little bit as you go, and it's no hide or hair off our back at all. Like at the end of the day, as long as it's paid before it ships, that's all I really am concerned about. So,
Ramsey Country, Kev, you making it to the Paul Bunyan show this fall if they have it? Well, as far as I know, they're having it. I would love to go. I really want to go. It all depends whether that border opens up. We don't know what's going on there. So this will be, if I can get across the border, yes. But that is up in the air. And if you follow my channel and my Instagram and that, you'll know whether I'm going. I'll give a big heads up for that. But as of right now, it is up in the air. We have no idea what is going to happen or going on up here. So we talked a bit earlier, like coming across the border, it's just a pain right now to get back in. Dragon's Pick. Buckin sent him.
No, thanks for coming.
I'm sure there's quite a few. Yeah, thank you for coming. And I'm sure there's quite a few from Buck and Billy Ray here checking things out. Garney, Andrew, have you ever thought about reversing the plate wedge on the Ultra? Basically like an axis for horizontal or a box store. More compact unit, side table instead of a end catch table.
Yeah, 100% I have. And I don't think it's a bad idea at all. I honestly, right off the top of my head, I don't know why I've never really done it. I think probably the biggest reason is when we do one that'll go vertical like that, it's going to be really hard. I think for people to see the value in having and paying extra for a machine like that, where the way that it's configured right now, you can run into a conveyor and push off the end of it, and it perform that way. But I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Like I said, I've definitely crossed my mind, but I just don't think I'll end up doing it just for that reason.
Mm-hmm. Brad Lloyd, I've actually talked to him a fair bit on my channel. 12-inch doesn't ever want to fall right. You know, it is such hit and miss. You get one log in there sitting and it just never, every piece doesn't want to fall right. And then I can do half a deck and it'd be fine. Like it's just
it'd be perfect every single go. And I really hope I can fix that. And I think that goes for almost any processor out there. Like the funny thing about a lot of videos and a lot of the ways that people market things is that they only show the good. And I try to I know when I market my stuff, I try to show you kind of every case scenario. I know I've bought stuff before and been disappointed, and that's the last thing that I'd ever want somebody to have. So
yeah, and I get asked a ton of questions, and I try to be honest. There's no point in somebody hearing someone else say, "Oh, it was able to do this or it doesn't have problems doing it," and then I'm to blame for that, right? So I don't. And I wasn't raised that way. There's no point in exaggerating like that.
There's no point in sugarcoating anything, especially when you're dealing with this kind of stuff. It's I'd rather be straightforward and honest with you, and that even goes for like production rates and stuff like that for processors. Like I've seen companies advertise like 12, 15 cords an hour, and like you might do that in like stuff that's like huge and like you're not ever gonna get that. Like you might get 15 cords an hour for like a deck or half a deck of like perfect hydro bowls, but it just not realistic.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. And that's another common question you get. How much can you produce an hour? Well, it's all depends how big your wood is going into it, right? It's
100%.
Really yeah. If you're getting good stuff, we'll take our stuff down, that big 4-inch. Like we'll run small stuff. We're the ones logging it. It's not like we're paying top dollar for it, right? So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's the other. Is that old clamping system and everything going to be the same as well? In the
Yeah,
invert area?
for your log clamp.
Yeah.
We had looked at a couple of different ways of doing it, Gage and I, and we ultimately are going to go back to what we're using. You will see us probably in the future change that and do a different scenario there, but I'm not going to indulge in too much of what that's going to be as of yet. So
Yeah. Okay. MSL logging. Here's another YouTube buddy of mine. North Carolina. He's logging in the mountains, and it is steep. The stuff he's logging. Like his calves got to be massive walking up these hills. He's like part billy goat. Like
some of those hills those lads get into are wild. Like you get going through the Appalachians and that one ridge, it's wild.
Yeah, we went to Myrtle Beach 4 years ago, I guess, and we saw some guys. My wife didn't care; she was playing her game, but these guys were logging on this hill mountaintop, and I couldn't believe where they were cutting. It was like straight down like this, and they had it all cut. It was clear cut, but I was like, "Holy cow! Like, how do you do that?"
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Down.
And that I think that's the funnest part about traveling and even YouTube and social media and stuff is you get to see so many different ways and how people do things and how many different perspectives there are on things and like there's really no right or wrong to any of it.
Yeah, it's everybody. Whatever area is what works best for you, right?
Yeah.
You know what works good down there doesn't mean it's going to work good up here, right?
Yeah.
But you may be able to take a bit of theirs and add it to yours, which may make it better, right? Which is good.
Well, that's exactly
it. To watch. Cartwheel Kid, any problems with the Briggs? I think you answered that already, though.
Yeah, there's nothing yet, but if you haven't done so, you're going to want to watch Joe tomorrow. He was having a couple of issues at Ohio Woodburn. He was having a couple of issues with the Briggs, but it was this guy's fault. So that's that's the only issue we've had with it. Believe me, it wouldn't be Briggs's fault. It was definitely on our end of it, and nothing major. Just an oversight on our side of it. So
that's good. You got him all fixed up. I'll have to check that out tomorrow morning. John, are you planning to make any vertical guillotine style circular saw processors like the Multitech 2020 SS?
No, you won't see us do that. Like we spoke about that a little bit earlier about the saw geometry and making it smoother. I don't think we're going to need to have a guillotine style. The biggest issue you run into with a guillotine style machine like that, especially as you get into larger machines, is the shipping height of it. When you have all that extra saw over top of that, you have to find a truck to put that on. So in terms of logistics, it just doesn't make sense. I think they probably work okay, but I think what they do is they do that guillotine style to take a lot of the shake and stuff out of the machine. I think we can do that as long as we put a little bit of thought into actually how that works. So
I'm gonna guess when you're going overseas, stuff's going in a container as well.
Yeah, and that's something that the offset designs helped us out. Gonna help us out a lot. Like we're able to actually get it narrowed in where there's lots of room for everything and still slide it into a sea can.
Just gonna say, stay away from evergreen.
Yeah, we will for sure. You couldn't imagine that. How would you explain that to a customer?
Oh, and I guess it's still stuck there. They want like $900 million to.
Oh, it's insane! It's insane. They couldn't imagine it. And I wouldn't even want to know what the stuff's worth on. Like you'd have to pay because you have to get it moving, right?
Yeah, well, I would think so, yeah. Or just abandon the ship. Probably cheaper at this point.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Andrew, would you ever consider building an entry-level processor, Savage Firewood, and processing and sales?
I don't like. We've talked about this a little bit before, Brad. We will have our 18 MB is going to be our 18 manual bar, so it's going to be. I think it's around $48,000 US. So it's going to be right around 60 364 Canadian is what it works out to. It's really hard to build something inexpensive and still build it good. If I'm going to put my name on, it's going to be something good. So it's really hard to build something that's going to compete with the smaller brands on the market. And then there are a lot of them that build good processors for an expensive amount of money. So there's no point in me dabbling in it.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of work, like research and development, R&D. It's expensive,
Yeah.
right?
And if you look at the dollars and cents of it, it's pretty skinny to be able to do it, build a good product, and still service at the end of it. Like it's a very difficult game to play and succeed at it.
Cartwheel Kid, is there any dealers in the U.S.? We just went through this. We're behind in the comments, so you probably
no worries
already, but that's no, and probably Andrew said probably not in the future, but you just call them directly and they can help you down there, get anything to you.
Yeah, everything's direct.
Crazy Dave says hi from Southwest Michigan.
Well, g'day, Crazy Dave.
Mike, I would make another drone video and show some changes to the shop. That I'd like to see.
Yeah, it actually worked out really good because Mikey did a drone video right before we changed the whole shop around. Like he showed the whole shop, how it was laid out and everything. So I'm hoping that when we get everything changed around, get the Eastonmade guys here, we can put the two videos kind of together and show you the changes that we made. Because like I said, it wouldn't be, even somebody that's been in there a lot, it wouldn't be recognizable right now at all.
Yeah, I've been in twice. I think I've walked through that shop now, but
where you walk through the customer entrance, where like all the cinder block, it's completely gone. You can see right from one end of the other.
Wow, that's crazy.
Like it's completely wide open.
Yeah, it will stay like that wide open then?
Yeah. Like doing that actually, we probably I would say we gained 40%, 33-40% doing it that way in room. It's pretty staggering when you actually put pen to paper to see what it was, but it was a big gap.
Yeah, that will help. My buddy Cody Harrison, he boys has a firewood business. Well, things are doing good and picking up, selling. He's up in near Havelock. He does.
Yeah.
I forget the little splitter he's got. It's pretty neat setup. It's like a Wallenstein style where you pull the log into and then use chainsaw to cut.
Oh yeah, I think they call it.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just trying to think what the name though. Maybe like an 835 is what they call that. Maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember what brand, but and then they do a lot of cedar posts. They peel their own posts.
Oh yeah,
cedar lumber. So he's a good guy. Robert Cote. Hi everyone, it's me, Big Frenchie from Quebec.
Comment ça va?
Your French is probably better than mine.
Mine's not very good. I wish it was better. It's one of those parts of school that I just wish I would have paid a little more attention to.
Yeah. GP Outdoors is answering a question here for us. Pushed a lot of elm through a 511 with a 4-way, never a problem. Slowed it down a bit, but he keeps pushing it through. Nice machine.
Thanks, Gord.
Freak and Jeep. Hi there from Maryland, John.
Thanks for showing up, John.
Wonder if that's for a Freak Sawmill? Frick? Or is it Frick? Frick Sawmill?
I'm not quite sure. John's always on my channel. He's a really good supporter, and I think he has a couple of splitter videos and stuff too.
Yeah. I'll have to go and check that out.
No, definitely we're talking about.
Is the new Eastonmade processor changing to blue to orange? Yes, it is.
It will be blue and orange, 100%.
Jeremy and Bell, this is your main man, your sales guy. How about the new larger cab with all the options and accessibility to the splitter?
Yeah, like that's gonna be like Jeremy's right. That's gonna be kind of like the biggest thing with change in the splitters. Like we were all kind of on the same page. If we want to make them smoother and we want to make them more comfortable, like the seat in the new processors is going to be a proper equipment seat, and you're going to be able to swivel the seat from one side to the other. And we're hoping that we can have the whole side of the cab slide out so you can get out the splitter, and then there's going to be a safety switch on the seat. So as soon as you take pressure off the seat, there's no possible way you can get your nothing to run sort of thing. But the cab's going to be a lot bigger. Like I think the cab on your 4000 is probably in around 30. I think 33, 34 inches across. So like when you're sitting, like yourself, when you're sitting in there, it's from one side to the other, it's tight. I think the new ones we're going to be able to go up around 46, 48 inches.
Oh, that'd be
so it's going to be like it's going to be a comfortable cab to sit in. You'll be able to put a lunchbox in there with you or whatever, and like have lots of room.
Yeah. Okay. These are my own questions on that cab because I'm curious. Will the joystick be on the seat?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You basically got to be if it's going to be air ride and you're bouncing around.
Yeah.
Be able to hold on to it, right? Or well, I guess you shouldn't be bouncing around if you're taking that shake out with the redoing
with the saw
design of the saw. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The radio that's going to be in it, is it going to be the same style, like Bluetooth in it?
I honestly don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead of you, Kev.
I know it sounds silly, but because I listen to either my satellite radio through my phone and I send it through the radio with the Bluetooth that's in the one now, or podcast, right? I can listen to that through my phone. So that's the advantage. Plus, if the cab's going to be quieter, guys want to talk on the phone.
I would think that would be. I would think for sure that you're probably going to see a Bluetooth radio in there, 100%. Yeah. It's the 21st century now. Like I think that's the way to do it, because like most guys aren't necessarily listening to the radio anymore, right? Like they're going to be listening to their own music or a podcast or whatever's going on, right? So
yeah, I'm into the podcast now. That's what I like listening to. The jacks on it, are they going to be hydraulic jacks or the same, like just wind down jacks?
They're going to be wind down jacks. We then again, another one of those things that we kind of weighed the pros and the cons of, like a hydraulic jack. When the machine shuts off or something actually goes wrong with it, you got to take it off.
No, like, oh yeah, no,
like a manual jack. It's there every day for you. It's just one of those. Yeah.
It's not that bad with manual jacks anyway, really, to be honest.
No, and if there was a good way to relieve them, but the problem with the hydraulic jacks, when you do them hydraulically, you have to have a check valve in between them, so that when it does sit there, it doesn't literally fall on its face, right?
Yeah.
So when you do run into a problem or you do have an issue with that, then you have to have some way to actually move the machine still, and like I said, we've thought it was a lot of back and forth with, but I don't think we're gonna do them just for that simple reason.
Which it's not that. I know you had some that were out there or it was an option before, but I don't really see an advantage with it. A few turns here and there, it's not that big of a deal.
No, I'm with you too, because I think it would be like a handy thing to have, but if something when that goes wrong and you're frustrated, the least thing you want to have is be more frustrated. So yeah, I think that's the big reason why I don't want to do it.
Yeah. On this was one of my questions too. On the new machines, are they going to have better sawdust control?
We're hoping so. Yeah, that was one of the big complaints that I've not even complaints. I don't think anybody's ever really called bells and said the sawdust sucks, but just going through the different forums and the different groups and stuff, that was always a big concern of them. And if you look at like the sawdust chute, it comes down and kind of notched out, so like the sawdust hits the one end. And yeah, I'm hoping we can do a lot nicer job of that and have that work well for everybody.
My whole thing, it wasn't so much falling, it's when it would go up and above the chute. So you'd have the guard of the saw, right? It'd go down.
Yeah.
And then the chute, there'd be this gap like that, and it'd go through that. And then it'd be up in the atmosphere blowing back over you, and you'd have this huge circle of sawdust, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those. If you control it better and you can kind of keep it contained better would be nice.
Yeah, I agree.
With a cab on that side as the same side as, because it will be the same side as the saw now, right?
Yeah.
Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you too. Like I don't think it's the end of the world, but it's just one of those things that we could do better and do a better job of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I 100%. I think it's something that maybe not got overlooked. It was just like, blow sawdust. It's a circular saw, right? And that's how most people think,
you're absolutely. And you're absolutely right. And again, going into this, the biggest goal for us is refinement. Like make it a machine. Like make it something that just works almost flawless.
Footprint of the machine. Is it going to be any bigger, any smaller? You said it's going to be a little bit narrower or a little bit easier to get in a container if you had to ship it overseas, I guess.
It's going to be a little easier to get into a container. I think, I don't know if Gage is still watching or not, but I think the footprint of it is going to be very similar to what it is. Just between offsetting the infeed and stuff like that, we have a lot more room for the engine, a lot more room for the splitter. It's going to make everything a lot more accessible, and it's just because of the way that we're doing it. But I think the general size, footprint, everything is going to be pretty much the same. It'll be within inches.
All right, that's good to know. You don't want to be making it too much bigger. I lost my spot here. Oh no. Here's another one for guys with three-phase. You can get three-phase power from a single-phase power using a VFD, variable frequency drive. And you're probably going to be seeing that on my channel soon too.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience with a variable frequency drive. We run a rotophase, and that's how I get my power at the shop that I'm in right now. Like at Eastonmade, it's right there.
Yeah.
Behind the house. We run big amperage, and we run 600 amps into it, and then we run a rotophase, and that's how we actually power all of the equipment that's in there. And I think the variable frequency drive works good for a lot of stuff, but for the precision CNC stuff that we have, it doesn't work for that. I think for a pro session, I think it'd be fine.
Yeah. I think you guys are drawing a pile too. Like you're running a flash shop, right? I get that.
Yeah, I think it's more the controls on it. Like the controls, like for the motors and the drives and stuff on it, that it has to be a really crisp, clean signal, right?
Yeah. Ice Road, any thoughts on making kindling machine someday, automatic or otherwise?
You will see that, yeah, probably within the year.
That would be cool.
You'll see us jump on that bandwagon. Like, there's nobody in North America that's doing them right now, and I think I can do a really, really nice job of especially with the resources that we have now and the people that we have in both places. I think we can do a really bang up job of a kindling machine.
That would be neat to see.
Yeah.
Freaking Jeep, ever think of a table method for splitting the firewood?
A table method. I'm not quite sure what you're at there, John. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. Do you have any thoughts on that, Kevin?
No, I was kind of thinking of how the axis was with the table, but like a vertical
Oh yeah,
machine. But I don't know. You've already kind of got that, so
yeah, and like in terms of something to maybe stage around a little bit better, it may not be a bad idea.
if you're
But I'm
still
not quite sure.
if John's still here, maybe clarify that, and I'll just keep an eye on the bottom of the questions here. But I'll keep going
Yeah, no,
forward.
I'll do my best for you, John.
Oh, T&J Outdoors. Andrew and Kevin, what's your favorite type of saw that you would use if you got the chance of any saw? Go ahead.
You go
Answer the.
first.
I'm a Husky guy. I love Huskies. 572. I love 572, but 395s, if I got to run and play, like they rip and they're fun to run. Not carry around so much, but I love running 95.
I don't know. Growing up, we always had stills. There was always a 440 still or 460 still. That's what we ran in the bush all the time. And I uh, I have Huskies now. I have a 562 and a 372, and it's just because like the and I don't know if it's true or not. The local saw shop, the guy that sells Huskies is a really good guy. Anthony Timmerman knows his saws. He's really good to work with, and that I bought the Huskies on service. I don't like them as much as the Stills.
Hmm.
Um, just and I don't even I don't know if it's durability or what the hell it is. I think, but that's just my take on it. I really like my 372. Like it does work well, and to me, a saw is kind of more of a tool than a toy, anyways. As long as it works, that's kind of the main thing for me. So.
Yeah, 372s are a pretty good saw. We've got a few of them, and then Boss bought a 572, and that's a nice saw. Feels a lot better.
I
It feels a lot better holding it than a 372, but
I really want to try one of the 500 eyes, but I don't know if we've got them in Canada yet.
uh,
Have you?
I'm pretty sure they're here in Canada, but I not 100% on that. Probably somebody
I
will
don't know.
probably give an answer in that.
Yeah, like maybe somebody can let us know. I've wanted to try one, and I wanted to get a bigger saw just for the same reason you said about 395, just for the
Yeah,
entertainment of it. Like there's nothing on that end of it. Like I really do like having like a good sharp saw. You take the breakers down a couple strokes, and it just eats.
yeah, oh yeah. I'd almost like to get a 372 built. That'd be fun, just for fun. Not,
Yeah,
but yeah, we've had a couple built and a couple blow up, and it just turned me off of getting saws built. Now it's just a buddy of ours doing it, not a professional guy. But yeah, it sucks when you actually hear it like ting and seize up. It just sucks.
I will believe
Brett,
that.
yeah, oh yeah, especially putting in the face cut, and you're like, oh man, I just want to get the string on the ground now. Brian, again, do you think you will see production difference between the inline design and the new offset design?
I think in a sprint you will. Honestly, in an all-out sprint, you'll probably see the inline design be quicker. I think over the course of a day, a week, I think you'll see the offset design uh, be quicker and more consistent. Like I think if you were in perfect wood all of the time with the inline design, I think it'll be quicker. But we don't live in a perfect world, and I think that's probably the best answer for that.
Yeah, I haven't seen the design yet. I've seen you've sent me the kind of what it was going to look like. Um, but like you say, it's being consistent. So if you can get, a touch slower but being consistent more, you're gonna in the end be faster throughout the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Iron and oak sawmill. Any plans on switching back to the Honda engines on Eastmade splitters?
No, um, no, I don't think you'll see me go back to Hondas. Honestly, Honda is a difficult company to deal with when you are a manufacturer, because I only have really one spot where I can buy engines from. The service on my end of it from them hasn't been well, and again, I try to be very proactive with things and stay ahead of things, and they never really took me seriously when I said I was going to need this many engines a month, and they still never did. And we went through the structure properly, how we were supposed to do the POs and stuff, and it just didn't work out. And like I said, and I know I've had a lot of customers, a lot of people comment, well, why don't you just go and buy them from this spot or that spot? If I were buying a couple engines, then yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that, but we go through a lot of engines, and when I buy up the 3 engines from this spot, then you know what, they're buying the same spot as I am, and they're not getting them either. So the Briggs, the supply chain's been great, the quality's been great, the service has been great. It's been drastically better.
Yeah, and it's all supply, right? Like, where does Briggs come out of? Where are they made?
They're actually Japanese. I think they're actually made in China, but they are I think it's Daihatsu brand of Toyota that actually makes the engine. So it's still a Japanese engine. When you get in the V twins, they're actually made in Georgia.
Oh, okay. So they're built in North America. That's nice. Which helps too.
Yeah, like
you don't have that shipping issues.
No, it's pretty. Honestly, the supply chain with Briggs has been almost completely and totally seamless. Like, especially the quantity at which we take them, has been incredible. That they've been able to respond to the demand that we have for them, because we go through a lot of engines, and they've been great. And in terms of everything else, it's been really, really good.
Jerry with a G was awesome, helping me upgrade from an Ultra to a 2228. I had concerns with loading a trailer and a fuel tank on the bottom. He's going to put it up somewhere out of the way.
Yeah, we could likely do that for you, James. Like, I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what we would do for it, but I'm sure we could accommodate you and make sure that it goes smooth for you, sort of thing. So.
One from me, this was emailed to me. What led to the production changes, customer input, employee input, your vision to make it better?
In terms of changing the design of the machines, mostly having the advantage of having an actual Eastonmade splitter on the processor. Like, I'm not quite sure how the Wedge is on your bells right now, like how it's fastened in there, how it changes in and out, or the accessibility to it, or the splitter chamber. Those are all huge things to me. If something goes into an inline design like that, sideways or whatever, it's a lot of work to get it out. Or if you need to change a wedge in and out quickly, you can't do that. There's a lot of things there that fundamentally I didn't like. But there's a lot of things that are exceptional. The infeed's got, the live deck's got, the frame's got, like the cabs are well fitted. Like, there's a lot of things. The only thing that I think I could knock would just be the inline design, and just as a whole. And it doesn't matter whether you buy a Bells or brute force. What would the inline is just? I don't think that's the answer. And I think the big one that we're always going to be compared to is going to be the Multi, because obviously they're the next closest competitor. But builds an offset design. Blockbuster builds an offset design. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing new in that respect, and it's just from my experience of running one or the other, that it was the way that I would prefer to do it if I were going to spend the money. So,
as well, is the splitting chamber going to be the same size, or is it going to be wider?
it's probably actually going to end up being a little bit narrower, honestly, if anything. That being said, the The splitter chamber is designed to handle, like we split 30, 36-inch wood, no problem on an Eastonmade splitter, right? So the general design of it goes a long way. It's like if you look at your processor, the wings are, or the sides are completely, totally straight on it. So there's not, if something goes sideways, it doesn't have a chance to go up. So there's a handful of little things like that you have to consider when you're doing that. And then even from say like the wedge to the side of the plate, like you have to make sure there's enough room there if the block goes sideways that it goes sideways and falls out. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you've experienced that. And again, it goes for any processor. It's
we've had that.
Hey.
Anybody who's run it's had that.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. And like it goes back to you'll never ever make a piece of wood smaller. Like that. That's when you're building this stuff, you have to. If you remember anything or you think of anything, you'll never ever make a block of wood smaller. Doesn't matter what you do with it.
Yeah. GP Outdoors. Got my Spidey Man PJs on. Need to put head to pillow. Thanks. Enjoyed it. Best of luck to you, Andrew, and the best to everyone.
Well, I'll watch you all to run in the morning, Gord. Don't worry. I might even put my coffee in a GP Outdoors coffee cup, as a matter of fact.
James, there's a video circulating of a massive 4-way wedge splitter made by Bell's. Could you do a video on it when things slow down?
Not sure if Mikey's still watching or not, but we actually built one. The last one we built was a week ago when I went out. I don't know if I'm going to keep building them or not. We've had quite a bit of interest on them, and it makes sense because those big splitters like that, they work good for oversized wood if you're running a processor. Even a tree service guy that's doing, if your chipper takes 18 inch, like if you can take it down without having to buy a tub grinder or a great big chipper, then it makes sense to do that, right? So it just where it fits into the shop is the biggest concern right now. And I think once we get things organized, we'll be able to see kind of how production is going to go with that if we continue to build them.
Yeah, I'm wondering too if it would help guys with horizontal grinders. They can break stuff up a little bit, make it smaller.
and I think the reason why they haven't been popular in that regards is that I don't know if it's really been marketed towards that. Like you really got to consider who's going to purchase something of that size or of that magnitude. But in that respect, when you actually look at the cost of going to a bigger grinder or whatever, then it makes good sense to do that. Like it's a versatile piece or a versatile tool to have there for the handful of times you need it instead of going to a bigger machine.
Yeah. Like our clearing guy we work with, he's got a smaller grinder, but he's always, busting up like our bigger cutoffs or bigger rotten stuff so it will fit into the process or fit into the grinder, right? So it would be maybe beneficial, but he's mobile too. So then it gives another piece of equipment to move for him. Is it the best option for him? I don't know, right?
No, that's exactly it. And it's really hard to say. And I think something like that is a tool that hasn't been marketed well enough or projected well enough to help those guys make a better informed decision on whether it'll be right for them or not.
Yeah. It's a beast of a thing though. Like I think Mike shared some videos in the firewood groups of it going out.
Oh, it's huge. Oh, it's massive. Honestly, it's a lot of wood splitter. It's a big wood splitter.
Yeah. Wiley Fox, hey, have you done any more testing with the 2228 diesel engine?
Yeah. It's fun. It's funny you ask, Wiley. We actually cooked our first pump there the other day, but it was on our end. I have another comment on another pump come on Monday, and we should have a couple of videos up towards the end of next week. I'm hoping if everything goes smooth, and it ran incredibly smoothly with the new pump and everything on it. It was really it was a really nice setup. It was just near on our end of it, so.
That'll be interesting to see some more video on that diesel. My buddy Videos by Al, giving your channel a little shout out there.
Hey, thanks, Al. Appreciate that.
He does a lot of sawing. He's got some pretty good sawmill videos up with.
Was that right?
Yeah.
I'll have to go sub to him.
Yeah, pretty good guy and knows his stuff when it comes to that. Brad Lloyd, radio in the cab? Really? I don't have a cab, so I don't know what that noise is all about. But I do know it's really loud without a cab. So you can actually hear the radio. Yes, you can hear the radio. I do wear earbuds, but I can hear the radio.
Yeah, and then that's go ahead.
I have tried using the Bluetooth to like talk, like phone calls, and that didn't work too well.
It's really hard to deaden a sound that well, especially in something like that that's so noisy. And actually, if you buy a 48C or a 60C now, there's not even an option. It comes with cab, comes with AC, comes with heat in it. It's not even it's not even a check mark. It comes already with that. And just again to standardize things and make things easier for everybody. So
yeah, which I kind of agree with. It's a circular saw with no cab is miserable because we started out like that and we sent it back and got a cab put on it.
Oh, 100%. It's not like it's a circular saw. Well, a circular saw is terrible with a cab. It's just a lot of dust, a lot of dirt, a lot of noise. It's not an enjoyable thing at all.
No, it was not, especially when the wind's not going the right way.
No, you can get covered in a lot of sawdust and an awful rush.
It's just you're sitting there like this running it so it doesn't go down your neck.
Ain't that the truth?
It is. I've been there. I'm like, Pete, you got to send it back. I need a cab.
Yeah, I often wonder, and I guess everybody's got a different perspective on it, but that's I think if you're gonna buy a machine, you might as well buy a machine with a cab, and there's no point in having a cab without the AC, and there's no point in having without a radio. You might as well have those things that you're gonna want and have in it for a little bit extra money. You might as well do it and do it right.
Yeah, for sure. Outside with Schwab, just tuned in. However, everyone's doing.
How's it going, Shibe?
We're getting caught up on comments here, which is good. Brad Lloyd, smashed a sawdust shoot off years ago when the saw threw a piece of wood through it. That happens.
It will do that if you're not careful with them. You got to be careful with them. That's for sure.
If he get his hands on a lot of wood and had the customers, he'd consider a processor.
Well, you ever go that way, Don? You let me know.
Yeah, you need a lot of wood and a lot of customers to move all that wood.
Yeah, the processor will eat up an awful pile of wood in a hurry.
Yeah. Jeremy, hey guys, such a great live stream. Looking forward to the next. But Andrew, where's the Guinness?
Well, I didn't want to switch them up halfway through. I have one more. I have one Guinness left in the fridge that Jerry had got for me, and I figured I'd just leave it there.
Here's our answer to the Still 500 Eyes. Been here since November, December. So I thought.
Oh, geez, thanks, James.
This is to our chainsaw question. Dad has a 272 since 94. The thing still runs like new. Those older saws, like those stuff built farther back, they last a pretty long time. Ran well.
Oh, Buck and Billy's a great example of her.
Yeah, exactly. He's
got some cool stuff.
McCullochs.
Yeah.
I think I had another one here. What's the longest radial stacker conveyor you make?
Standards 32. The standards 32. Like we've done them that are 40. I don't know if we need a conveyor that's 40 feet long or not. The handful of times that we've done them, I don't know. Maybe we can do a really nice job. I think at the end of the day that we've normally been more disappointed in them than anything. So I think we're going to get really good at what we do. And then maybe down the road, we might end up doing like a 40 or a 48 or something. But typically 32 is kind of the limit on conveyors right now.
Yeah, you're getting pretty long, and you got to move it too, right?
Yeah, and the structure for it too. Like if you look at a firewood conveyor versus a gravel screener conveyor, like a gravel conveyor, you're going from a conveyor that's 12, 15 grand to something. I'm assuming 60 or 70 grand.
Yeah.
So in order to do a proper job on it, you're going to be paying big money for it to actually work and function and last the way that you want it to. So,
are you going to be changing those bigger conveyors at all, like the 32 footers? Will they all stay 2-strand?
No, I think they'll go single strand. Honestly, I think once you guys get running that, or I don't know. Like the single chain conveyors, I've had really good luck with them. Like they don't have any problems with them finding or clocking or nothing like that, and they're simple and easy. So that's kind of my take on that. I'm sure I'm surprised anybody's. I know you guys have had some issues with your single chain, but like conveyors, like nothing. We send conveyors out, we don't even look at them. We don't ever get a call back on them. We don't get a nothing. They just run.
Have you tried one of those single chains behind like one of your smaller, like whatever 20 foot with a single chain behind a processor yet?
No, I'm going to though. I have one in the yard here. That's my own. I plan on trying it out here in the next couple of weeks, but I don't foresee any issues with it. Like the 1222 cycles in about 5 seconds. So if you actually look at the actual cycle time on a processor, it's pretty close to that. Like when between block to block. And I've never had an issue with one binding, and you can dump bucket loads of wood on them and not have an issue. So
well, that's good.
I don't think we'll run into a whole lot with it.
I got that attached conveyor. Will it be? And I haven't seen the 2 strands, but the single strands are different. It like comes flat and then it goes square, and then out on your angle. Are you changing that at all? Will it just be like?
I'm not quite sure how we're gonna do it on the attached conveyors. Like my conveyors right now, they're very similar to what yours, like what your bigger 32 would be.
Yeah.
Like it would be angled. I don't know if we get away with having, or which way we're gonna do it yet. That's kind of another thing we got to finalize here. But I don't think either way, whatever we do, if we get in the yard and it doesn't work right, we're not gonna sell it. So
yeah. For sure. Just curious on how we're wondering if that's kind of the reason why, whether it wants to draw the wood off because how it sits on that little angle. Like it comes up about 2 inches and then it goes out. If that came down flat like that, would it stay on the attached conveyor better?
Oh, entirely possible. Like
Yeah.
if you ever have an issue with it falling over the sides of it too, like I think our attached conveyor is going to be higher sides on and stuff too. Like it'll be.
That will work.
Yeah, because like if you get something that has like, I don't know where it is, but like little narrow sides like that, a piece of wood ain't gonna go off that. It's just gonna fall off the end of it. It's not gonna be any use to anybody.
Yeah. Lawns, landscaping, firewood, and more. If I order 2228, when's it going to be ready?
We are telling people November of 2022. That being said, you're probably going to get it a lot before that. Just not quite sure. We're telling people November of 2022 just because that is what our schedule is right now. We're hopefully going to be able to shorten that up by quite a long piece. So,
Wiley Fox, I think you answered this already. Any more testing on the 2028
Yeah.
diesel? You're waiting
Yeah.
on that pump.
Yeah, just waiting on the pump to come.
Yeah. And this is answer your question. I think they're out into 2022 with splitters. So
yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
What are processors at now? I'm sure that will be asked.
So if someone to order a processor, it's probably going to be late July, early August right now. And I don't know if at some point those two schedules are going to match up with each other better or not. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say which way we're going to do that, how the shop's going to be orchestrated and structured to appease everybody, sort of thing. So
yeah. Now, when you guys are building, let's just say in theory, if you get caught up on splitters, would you move guys from the splitters to the processors to help, or would there be room?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Mike, he's still here. He's got lots of videos of the super splitter. So that'll be cool to see. It'd be nice to get a video of that up because that thing's a beast.
Yeah, I think the only reason why I didn't get one of this one is just because of well, I don't know, you know, but the wife had a baby there last week. I think that's when they were testing it. So I wasn't able to get out and see it. So
yeah, busy.
Lots going on.
Yeah. T&J's Outdoors. In my new video, if you've seen yet, that red oak we unloaded was like 5 days ago. And boy, that stuff splits nice. Most of it's nice and straight. It's also real big, so I get lots of pieces out of it. Yeah, clean red oak cuts real nice. That's for sure.
Right. It is nice stuff to work with. If you want to make a splitter or processor look good, you run red oak or.
Gage says you'll have that Guinness as a midnight snack.
Yeah, I probably will.
Iron and Oak. Andrew, thank you for turning me on to Tim Hortons coffee in your videos. Best coffee ever.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, McDonald's isn't too far off, but Tim Hortons, I don't know what it is about Tim Hortons. It just you just have to stop there. It's like a magnet when you go by.
It's our Tim Hortons in town, man. The lineup is just crazy. It's so, whether it's slow or that many people getting coffee, it's like I'll just make my own at home.
I have no idea. It's crazy. It's like a phenomenon in Canada here. I don't know why. And like every Tim Hortons is like that. We have two in town, and they'll both be backed up like that. Like normally I have to pass two of them by the time I get to Bell's. Like one's on the highway, one's in town. Yeah. And normally if one's busy, the other's not. So normally if one's backed up, I'll go to the other, and it's normally not too bad, but it's crazy.
Yeah, the McDonald's is pretty good. They're usually pretty quick getting through too.
Yeah, McDonald's is a good coffee.
Dean Parks, will you build a conveyor to design?
No. Like in terms of that, we're gonna get away from doing a lot of that kind of stuff. Like if somebody wants something special, we don't. It takes a lot to do that. Like for the amount of time it takes to design something, draw it, and put it into production, have it work well. It's a pretty daunting task. I know it sounds easy like if you're listening to it. But for something like that, if we were to build something custom, a conveyor, we could probably build 4 or 5 other ones for the time it would take to build one custom one. So I don't foresee that in the future at all.
Yeah, tough to. And then you're drawing away from other machines as well, right?
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Justin Lambert. Hello, I have a 2228 on order towards the end of the year. Will you be back to Honda or sticking to Briggs? Jerry says cycle time is also speeding up.
We have a few things for the cycle time that we're trying out right now with the Kubota and everything. We're still going to run the Briggs. We've had tremendous luck with them. I think I'm gonna keep running them, and they've been a good engine, good bunch of guys to deal with. Like I'm actually thoroughly impressed with them. I know we've said that quite a few times in this video, but I've had great luck with them, and I think that's the way to go grow my business. So
Yeah, use what's working for you, right? If they're still working, carry on. No point going to Honda if you can't get them.
no, and then for some reason they don't seem to care if I get them either. That's kind of the big thing. Like we ran into a lot of times last year where we needed engines, and we've been proactive. And I know COVID and stuff, and we've been really patient, and then you get 10, 12 machines out in the yard, and people calling wondering where their wood splitters are, and you haven't got engines for them.
Yeah,
like
and that's
ultimately,
tough to look at every day.
Oh, 100%. You gotta think if you have that many kind of splitters sitting in your yard, it's a big buck to sit on, and not turn money over, right?
Yeah. Gage, I missed a lot of the stream. Not sure if you touched on this yet, but have you commented on the serviceability and diagnostic process of the new hydraulic system?
Yeah, we have a little bit, Gage. The new system's going to be, I guess, more complex, but a lot simpler. Like we're going to be able to do a whole lot more with it, and it's going to be a lot simpler. There's not going to be any sequence valves on it. Everything's going to be fly-by-wire. It's going to be a nice setup. We have one machine that's been running with it on it for a little more than a year now, I think. If I'm right, Gage might be able to clarify that, but it's been running for about a year and flawless. Not a hiccup, nothing.
Now, was this already a plan a year ago, or it just happened? Bell's tried it out, something they were looking to go to.
Yeah, they were looking to go to that type of a system. And I don't know. I'm not quite sure what impeded it from not getting implemented sooner. I really don't know, because the parts are available, like all that stuff's. It's a whole modular, like everything's modular on it. It's very simple to change things and modify things. I don't know why we never. Why it never happened sooner, but I know myself in terms of serviceability and diagnostics and like honestly, ultimately for the end user, their experience with it, I want to make sure that it's the best. So that's why we're going that way with it. So
sounds good. I'd like to see that see that system, even though the other system was good for us so far.
Oh yeah, it is like 100%. I designed that one years and years ago, and it's been pretty rock solid for a lot of guys.
Yeah. Jeremy, lots of talk about attached conveyors and the new disc screener.
We're well, the attached conveyors, we're gonna change them a little bit, and the disc screeners. I should be doing a video. That might even happen tomorrow or Monday if I get a chance. So we have a disc screener set up, and the disc screener's a way to fly. Like after running both of them, I really like the disc screener. I know you guys have the tumbler, and it might be something interesting to even maybe even send one up to you guys and see what your thoughts are on one or the other. Might be something that would be very, very interesting, because you guys have had so much experience with the tumbler, and then if you guys have a disc screen, then at least you guys can give an honest feedback and opinion, whether it be good or bad on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Something we should talk about, I guess, later or after this or whenever we have time. It'd be interesting. Disc screener's not. We're happy with the tumbler, but disc screener everybody seems to really like them so far. So that'd be interesting to see. Go ahead.
The disc screener is kind of funny because like, I know the first time I seen one, I was like, what the hell is that thing? Like that ain't gonna work. Like it was incredibly skeptical of it. And there's no possible way that thing's actually gonna work and do what you want it to do, but it does it and does it incredibly well.
Yeah,
and in terms of reliability, they're rock solid.
Yeah, when I first saw them, I'm like, boy, that's a lot of moving parts on it. You know, everything's.
I thought the same thing. I thought there's no possible way that's going to work and run and be No, they work incredibly well. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I was like very skeptical.
Yeah. And hearing, guys who are running thousands of cords through them is still swear by them. So that's a good sign when you
Yeah,
see that.
yeah.
Anthony says, hello, friends. Well, hello, Anthony. James, any problems pulling a 2028 for long distances at 401 speeds? May want to
No,
take it
not at
up to the
all.
end last 500K.
They pull really well. Like we have lots of guys that pull them across the country, and they pull good.
You should buy two, James, and keep one up there. For people 401 speeds, that's 100 kilometers an hour, which is 65 mile an
About
hour, I guess.
yeah, about 60, 65, yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in that area. I don't have a splitter to split it though. He must be talking to someone else here. Oh, I didn't. This is with the red oak rounds. I didn't have a splitter to split it though. He's using the Fisker X27 splitting axe. That's right. I hear a lot of good things about those Fisker axes.
I have too, and I don't know what the deal is on them. What makes them so much better? Like I said, I haven't used them all enough to honestly say year and on them. But I've heard the Fiskers are the way to go with them.
Yeah, I think they're lifetime on the handles, and I'd be interested to have one for pounding wedges in the bush.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that would work well for that. Yeah.
Chad, how bad have your steel prices gotten? Seems like everyone's raising prices 10 to 15%.
They're insane.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're completely and totally bonkers right now. It's right off the scales. Like it's changed our bottom line a lot the last 6 months. Like just for example, like we buy a lot of steel. We can normally buy it for 43 cents a pound. It's up over $1 a pound right now.
Wow.
So it's like doubled and then some. And it's kind of a weird thing because when you look at the steel cost on either the splitter or the processor, it's not the major cost on it. You would think it is, but it's not, like compared to an engine or hydraulic pumps or whatever. But when you jump that far with the prices on it, it's insane.
Yeah, I can see. Is that a lot because it's coming across the border, or just how things have, or
I think
COVID
just with production
impacting
and
it?
COVID and stuff like that, like I think you'll likely see them go back down. It's going to take probably 5 or 6 months for it to happen, but it's just, again, one of those things you have to be prepared for and be proactive. Like, I can't change the price of splitters enough to make up the difference in it, especially for guys that have ordered them or had them on order for so long, right? So
Yeah. TJ Outdoors. But yeah, splitting ash and red oak makes it look to show off. Sorry, splitting ash and red oak would look nice to show off a splitter. And he's right, it does. You can put a big
it does
straight piece of red
100%.
oak on. And see, we cut a ton of ash where we are, but it splits everything we put in it, whether it's ash, maple, beech, you name it, it goes through it.
Yeah, it'll split just about anything.
Anthony, there's so many things to get. I'm 53 now. The realization of having all these cool pieces of equipment is not going to happen. Well, it happens sometimes. Just, you never know. You keep working at it.
Well, I've only been an Eastonmade. I've only done Eastonmade for 6 years, and here I am now. So
yeah,
there's always time.
Start small and have a big dream, and you never know where you get.
Yeah, reach for the stars, you might land on the moon.
That's right. Would you consider a 360-degree rotating wedge to spin on the spot that works best, similar to whatever?
Afacor? I've seen a handful of them, and like, honestly, guys, I'm a KISS guy. Keep it simple. The more you do things like this, that like spinning wedges and I think the other guy was talking about lasers for the wedges, moving them up and down. You really gotta consider what you're doing and what the advantage is, and I'm sure that's probably a good system, but you have to build that rugged enough and heavy enough to last. When you're actually talking about wood and production commercial applications, it's hard on things. You got to make sure that the stuff is right, and I would think that'd be an incredibly difficult thing to do, and actually do it that it works well. It goes back to the same thing. I can going back to the Ashley. I can run the Astro wood splitter all day long, and it'll look beautiful, but that doesn't mean it's gonna last. So
yeah, I'll have to check that out. I don't think I've seen that.
I've seen a handful of them done like that, and it looks really cool, and I'm sure it probably works fine, but um, wood doesn't always go through this process for splitters perfectly, and you really got to consider that. Like, um, I'd rather build a machine that's going to be there every day.
Yeah, and that's what people want too. They want it to last. Drew, when are you going to put used machines out?
Honestly, I don't know if Jeremy's still watching or not, but he might be able to comment. I know there's a couple of them, like a couple of processors that are available. There should be, but we don't get a lot of used machines. Like the odd time we'll get processors that guys are trading in. Typically, what'll happen is logistically, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to take a trade in, so they'll sell them locally and normally get a better buck for them. And in terms of splitters themselves, most guys that are selling, like most guys that are looking to upgrade a splitter or selling an Eastonmade splitter are typically getting more than what they paid for it, and immediately they're not on the market for very long.
Yeah, and I haven't. Same thing. Watching the firewood groups, it's the same thing. There's used market isn't very big in the firewood, whether it's splitters or processors.
No, it's not at all.
It's at the point where guys see it posted and they're asking if it's for sale.
No, that's exactly it, and it's literally like throwing a steak into a cage of hungry animals or something like.
Yeah.
Like it's especially with the splitters. And most guys that have them will keep them because, like, honestly, you buy a splitter like that, it's something that you're normally always going to be able to utilize and have, and they're built heavy enough that they should last forever. So
yeah. Dean Parks, have a good night to you all and good info. Hope to get that email from you, Kev. Have a good night. I'm not quite sure about what this email is, but Dean, if you're still on, do you want to explain? Are you going to send me one? And I guess I'm going back. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. So anyway, Dean, have a good night. Mark, you both would love the 500i. I have one. It's a badass machine. I'd love to try it. I really would. I run Huskies all the time, but hey, I'll run a still no problem.
I'd really like to try one of the 500i's. I just haven't never had the opportunity to yet.
Thomas Helton, 2 firewood grates in 1 video. He's another one of my YouTube buddies he's in North Carolina too. I know a lot of people in North Carolina.
North Carolina is a beautiful spot. I gotta say, I really actually in North Carolina I enjoy that spot.
Yeah, I love Blue Ridge Mountains. Are beautiful going through.
Oh, they are. They're gorgeous.
Gage, I want to get a classic car, something that's sexy, exotic, but still shows my trailer park. How do you like your Corvette, Andrew?
What a numpty.
Oh man.
I actually I had an older Corvette. I just bought a C70, about a 2015 Z06, and it's a beautiful machine. It's got everything. Like it drives nice, but it's not. I had a C5 before, a 2003 Z06, and it was a race car. Like it was the 2003 Z06 got bare bones. You're driving a race car, And then this new one, I think it's just too cushy for me. I'm not a huge fan of it. It's a nice car, but it's just not not raw enough. I don't think. Hey, going back to the trailer park, eh?
Well, if you don't like it, you can send it down this way. That's fine. James says a guy put a video on YouTube of cutting 2 full cords in an hour of red oak on a glacier, big box store splitter.
He was pulling her leg.
The other thing too, if he did do it, let's just say he did, can he keep that up all day with a big box store splitter? I don't know. I haven't seen the video, so
I don't think so. Like the 1222 might, you could do it if it was perfect going, but you'd need 2 people to do it probably. I don't think you would physically move that much wood with one person, and that's with a splitter that's above all. The 1222 is the fastest machine you'll ever buy. I just don't think that would be.
That's a lot of wood.
That's an awful pile of wood, especially in an hour. That's like most guys running like 1222 or 2228 are averaging probably, I would say, around a cord and a half an hour if it's already split ahead of them. The big problem's moving it. Like you said, keeping pace with it. That's the tricky part of that. And like if you're running full out, you might get 2.5 out of it. But that's pushing it. It goes back to the same thing with the processor. There's a lot of companies that advertise just an astronomical number of wood you can put at the back of it, but like that's in a perfect world where there's unicorns and rainbows. So
yeah, sunshine and lollipops.
That's exactly it.
Anthony, is there a log splitter between commercial use and home use?
No, that's kind of where the Ultra falls in. If you look at our Eastonmade Ultra, that's more or less what it's made for. It's made to be a machine that's really quick, fast, and it's built to last, but it doesn't have the big price tag of the bigger machines. So,
okay, I'm gonna get to Dean. I'm just jumping ahead here. The traction pads you put on your track loader. So you're talking about the Pro Links. If you sent me an email, I don't remember getting it, but if you want one, send it to me again, and skittercab@gmail.com, and I'll read it and respond to you if you want. Sorry I didn't get back to you right away. I don't know what's going on, why I didn't get it, but try sending it again, and I'll be glad to help you out there, Dean. And if you're wondering, traction bars, I got to go the other way. Pro Links. Wow, the cameras will screw me up here. BKD 70. I think if you really want to show off a splitter, put some Null or Sycamore or that mysterious yellow birch you talk about on it. People in the know will know.
and it's funny you say that too, because it's you get 2 different responses from putting videos up of running dirty stuff or clean stuff. If you run clean stuff, and you're always gonna have a skeptic saying, "Oh well, you should have put this, you should have put that on." Then you run the ugly stuff, and somebody's, "Oh well, that's slow. That looked like a pain in the ass." And it's funny how it doesn't matter what you put in a video. You couldn't ever keep somebody happy with it. But we do have all kinds of videos of different stuff going on. Yellow birch, there's you get further south and they don't have it, but it's that's some pretty rotten stuff to split. Sometimes it can be dirty, nasty, stringy stuff. So
yeah, we get a little bit of yellow birch, but it's few and far between. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Jeremy, hey Gage, I heard someone say demon the other day.
Yeah, he did. I'm not quite sure that might be the answer for him. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know my wallet's deep enough for that.
Gage says perfect start start to the race team.
I think we should work out processors first.
TJ, yeah, the Fiskas to me are great. I love them. They work so well. Well, that's great. I've heard nothing but good things from them. So
Yeah, me too. I've heard lots of guys have tremendous luck with them, and they work fantastic.
whoa. So Buck and Billy Ray, thank you so
Well,
much.
thanks a
Holy
lot, Buck, and
cow.
that's amazing. Thank
I
you.
don't know if I'm missing this in the wow, in the other video here, because that should be there should be a question with that. But thank you very much, Buckin. Holy cow,
That's
that
amazing,
blows
Buck.
me
And
away.
thanks for coming out. It means the world to us having your support. It really, really does.
Yeah, for sure. Um, Dean, you need to send you the info. Okay, well, go in the description of any of my videos, and my email's in there. So send that to me, and I'll send that info back to you. Okay. Back up here. Have you ever had one order the Big Dog 36D yet? I'd love to see that monster of a splitter rip and tear some gnarly rounds.
Oh yeah, no, we've moved quite a few of them. Honestly, um, there's been a lot of guys that had 2228s on orders that upgraded to the diesel option at Kubota on them. And honestly, guys, like if you're gonna spend the money on it, it's an asset. Anyways, you're gonna spend the money, but you're always gonna have the money there, right? It's sort of like putting it in the bank. The machine's not gonna typically be less than what you paid for it. So if you can afford to go up to that Kubota, it's well worth it.
I just checked. There's actually nothing else with that. But again, usually there should be a question with what Buckin did right here. You can put a question in there. He didn't put anything. But thank you again, Bill. Buckin Billy Ray. That's awesome.
Yeah,
And
thanks
if
a
nobody
lot, Billy.
follows him,
That's
if guys don't know, Billy's out on the west coast. He's on Vancouver Island, I believe, right?
yeah, he's in an IMO.
Nanaimo. Yeah, so go check him out. He's running old McCullough chainsaws and doing a lot. Does tree service and some sketchy stuff there.
He's got some awesome videos. If you're into chainsaws and you want to learn stuff, that's an incredible resource to have at your fingertips. Is Buck and Billy Ray, and I said this before too. He's a super down to earth, super nice guy. I've had lots of conversations with him on the phone, and he is genuine. He's as good as they get.
Yeah. Iron and Oak Sawmill. Any chance of adding a 110 outlet on the splitters for lighting those late nights to splitting in the wood yard?
You know, we've actually done that a handful of times for guys. Not 110, but 12-volt lights. We've done a handful of them like that for guys, and it's one of those things that I think once we get kind of settled here, it'll be an option on the machines, because it does work out great. Because there's lots of guys that go out and split wood, get home from work at 4:35 o'clock at night to go to split a couple of cord of wood, and having lights on the machine is a big plus.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that. You know, guys that are still working full-time jobs and doing wood on doing the side hustle of firewood. They're doing it.
Yep.
You know, in the winter, it's dark at 5 o'clock here, or 5:30, whatever, 5 almost.
Oh yeah, and you start going further north than us, and it's even sooner than that, right? So you get up in northern Wisconsin, places like that. It's dark earlier.
Yeah. Where are we here? Lucky Monkey. I want to sell my Timberwolf TW5 and buy an Eastonmade'S soon.
Whenever you're ready, you just let us know. We'll help you out with it. I don't think you'd have any issue getting rid of a TW5 Timberwolf. They're a great splitter.
Yeah, and I don't think he'd have any problem selling that either. So I think he'd be doing good and both ways there.
Yeah, I think so too.
TJ, same thing. I went and check that live stream. There's nothing with it, but again, thank you. I can't say enough for that. Refers to buck and chainsaw rooms as Aladdin's cave.
You're pretty similar, I bet you. You're pretty similar. There's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah. Buckin, you're too kind. You're too kind, Buckin.
For
sure.
He's pretty exceptional. I'm very fortunate to have been able to work with somebody of his caliber and him help us out as much as he had, and that goes for all the guys on YouTube here that they've the whole community thing has been great to have this many people pulling for us, helping us out through this, because that's really what's helped this grow into what it is now, and it continues to grow at a rate that's unfathomable. Like, honestly, I never thought. I was talking to one of my really good buddies, Lyndon, today. I've known Lyndon my whole life, and he said, did you really think 6 years ago when we were sitting in your garage having a beer it would turn into this? And no, I didn't think it would. So, but it's from help like from people like yourself and Buck and Billy and all the other guys that have showed us such great support. It's been amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast things can grow with a little bit of social media help too on how fast things can go.
Oh, 100%.
Andrew, will you offer any firewood processors in the format of that Yapit uses?
No, probably not. And it goes back to that other part of it. Like we've talked about that a handful of times that it's hard to build something that's inexpensive and good. Yappa does a really good job, but I know their machines aren't terribly inexpensive. If you look at the price of their machines, they're kind of on the lower price end of it. But it's hard to build something that's inexpensive and still really good that's going to last. Like if you're building stuff for wood or logging or tree service, you have to build it rugged enough that it's going to last. Because if you don't, it's pretty sensitive. That being said, the Yappa machines are fantastic. They really are an amazing machine. So,
yeah. Dean, this is on Buck, and he's a great role model for the world. If people could be half the man he is, this would be an awesome place to live.
Oh, 100%. You got to support one another and be kind. That's number one.
Yeah, exactly. I thank Buck and Billy Ray for posting that you'd be live tonight because I watched some of your videos and I enjoy them. So now I sub and hit the bell. Thanks to him. Well, thanks, T&J Outdoors. I appreciate that. And
that's fantastic.
I guess you're following Andrew too, or following both of us. That's awesome. And this is what it takes sometimes. A little bit of share you made. I've found guys that I never knew was around watching live streams. So.
Oh, I've run over a lot of them. I just guys coming in and it's cool to see there's that many channels. I normally try to keep my eyes out for them and keep up with a lot of them when I have the opportunity to do so. So
yeah, I've had channels. I'm like, they've been around a while, and I'm like, how have they never popped up in my feed or anything to never see them? I think it's crazy.
It would make you wonder. Yeah, I agree with you. You'd wonder how you haven't seen them before.
Yeah. BKD, I've split a lot of wood at night. The old Harbor Freight tailgater from when they were blue. A couple of lights and go at it.
Way you go.
We're done. Dean says his phone's starting to mess up. Maybe that's why we're having trouble. Kenneth Ketter, I split a lot of hardwood like oak. How does your wood splitter handle oak?
And now that's kind of a loaded question too, because we get asked that a lot, and there's so many different subspecies of oak that it's really hard to say, because you know yourself, red oak splits just beautiful. Like it's red oak's really easy splitting stuff, and then white oak's a little bit tougher and it splits nice, and then you get into the south, you get around a live oak. That live oak's just terrible stuff to split. Like, it's rotten. It still splits it all right, but it's there's so many subspecies to it that it's really hard to answer the question and tell you for sure. But in terms of that, like if you're buying an Eastonmade splitter, it's going to split what it's going to do a nice job of it.
Yeah. Buckin, Kev, where you at? I am in southern Ontario, so we're about 35 minutes northwest of Toronto. So not just outside of the big city enough. Even a little bit more would be better, but yeah, southern Ontario. Jeremy, hey Kev, when are you going to come up for a visit and a video soon? That I don't know. I've actually talked with my wife about that. We'd like to come up with a little bit nicer weather maybe and make a long weekend of it with the family, maybe. But yeah, my weekends are pretty busy right now, but that is something I'd like to do if it was all right to come up and check out the place.
Oh, I think everybody would love to have you. Like I think once we kind of get the Eastonmade guys set up here in the summertime and this COVID thing slows down, then we're all yours. The place is open, man.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You guys having everything ready and running smooth. There's no point being there when you kind of tying you up while you're trying to get some things fixed up there that you need to be concentrating on too. And we want to see some blue and orange stuff being built up there too, as processors.
Well, I gotta say the guys keep things running pretty smooth there, considering how much has happened in that building. It's the guys do an incredible job, but they gotta give it to them.
Yeah. Heathen answering your question about the yoke, kind of they really push through that stuff well. So right from a guy who runs them. He's just unsure what size to get. I guess that's what he's kind of worried about.
Like in terms of processor or splitter, you wonder? Oh,
I think he was the splitter, I believe.
If you have any doubts on a splitter, if you want a bigger one, or if you don't think it'll be enough, go to the biggest one. You won't regret it. If you buy the 2228, it's going to split whatever you put in front of it. The 1222, you got to be a little more conscious of what you're doing with it. It's going to split whatever you have. The Axis is another really good example of that. Like the Axis doesn't really care what you put on; it'll split just about anything. So you just got to be conscious of what you're doing. Is kind of more to the point of it. The 2228, like I said, will split anything. The 1222, 9, 16, 511, you got to be a little more conscious, careful with it. And then the Alter doesn't carry, or the Axis doesn't carry either. So.
Joe from Joe's Premium Firewood says there's over 220 species of oak. Wow, that's.
I would believe that. That's a good tidbit of information there, Joe. There's an awful pile of them.
Lucky Monkey, thanks for responding to both my questions. Thanks, Andrew.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. People can ask what they want and carry on. They come up with another question after watching for a while and having fun. I can't go live yet because he doesn't have enough subscribers. Yeah, I think you need 1,000 subscribers to do that. I'm not 100% sure of that. Keep working, T&J Outdoors, and everybody go check them out and help them out.
Yeah, go give them a big thumbs up, and I got to tell you, and I'm sure Buckin will tell you, anybody that's done this YouTube thing, like you really got to kick the horse. It's not a one-time shot deal. You've got to put in the effort for it, and you guys that have done it on a base, at least I had a product to push. You know what I mean? Like you guys that are doing what you're doing, that's impressive. Like you guys do a great job of that. That's incredible that it grows like that.
Yeah, but like you said, it's a lot of work, and you got to be consistent.
Yeah, big time.
Helps.
Oh, 100% it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Boyd, I'm here from Buckin. Andrew, Buckin has used that Eastonmade axis with conveyor many times on his channel. I'm totally impressed.
He does a great job of it too. Like he shows it off and does an incredible job with that machine. I've been really fortunate to have his support and him showing the machine and how it runs.
Yeah, and buddy of mine is getting one of those, so I'm impressed with it. I can't wait to get to really take a good look at it and maybe even get to give a test run on it.
Oh, they work really well. They really, really do. They're not quite as fast horizontal splitter, but you can make really nice wood with them out of something that's not very pretty, and they perform well.
Yeah. Lucky Monkey. Andrew, will you be at the Paul Bunyan this year?
It depends on the borders guys. Like whether or not we can get across and go, I don't know. Time will tell with that one. If I can get to it, I'm going to go to it, I think. But
yeah, what did Buchan say here? 24 hours a day. I didn't see what he was replying to. I must be missing something here. Just waiting for the email that our machine is on the trailer and on its way. I got the email that it's being built behind on firewood here.
well, I'm sure if it's I think it's probably coming up fairly soon. Honestly, if I remember correctly. I remember the last time I was taught here, I maybe sent you an email there not too long ago, and should have been right around this time frame. It just the biggest thing with it is we try to schedule Drew, the truck driver, if he has a bunch of stuff going to the east and he goes to the east and goes to the west, we schedule that too. So just kind of depending on what happens there is kind of how the delivery works, whether it be 1 week or the next sort of thing. So
yeah, and Buchan's comment on that 24 hours a day YouTubing.
It
He's
is
right.
100%. You've got to be right on the ball with it, and it's got to be something that if you want to be successful, you got to be committed to it.
Yeah, and there's another. Where is it? Wild Bill has a serious subscriber. Consistent publications of videos make the difference, and I agree 100%. People want to know when that video's coming out, whether it's Wednesdays, Sundays, Mondays, Thursdays, whatever.
Yeah,
They
like
want to sit there and they want to wait.
I was trying to be really consistent on like 2 nights a week, like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I found that's where I had my most growth with the channel, and I'm hoping once we get everything kind of ironed out here at Bell's and everything running consistently again, then I plan on continuing to do that, and I really enjoy doing it. It's something that gives me something creative to do, and something to kind of relax, anyways. So
yeah, and it's good. You get to show kind of behind the scenes something what you guys are doing, whether it's testing that new attached conveyor or new diesel engine, right?
oh yeah, and it's great to hear from everybody. Like you said, like the community part of it is huge because you get to, like for me, I get to get feedback from people that are actually going to buy stuff that are interested in what we're doing, and because I've said on a bunch of my videos, I can build a wood splitter for myself all day, but I'm not building for me. I'm building for you guys, right? So it's got to be right in what you guys want too. So
Yeah, no, I hear you, Kenneth. I just don't know what size wood split to get because I split a lot of red and white oak and some ash walnut. I got everything to 18-inch.
yeah, it'd be a hard one, honestly, Kenneth. Like we normally try to steer guys if they're iffy on it, then we normally try to steer them into the bigger one. And it depends on where you get your wood too. Like if you get wood that grows in a forest, it's completely different than something that grows on a fence line or tree service wood too. Like the grain structure of it is so much denser when it's out in the open, like on a fence line or a yard or whatever, versus something that's actually grown in the forest. And most species that are growing in the forest, whether it be elm or whatever, it's normally a lot straighter grain, a lot easier splitting when it's grown in the forest versus in the open. So hopefully that kind of helps steer you in the right direction with that too. So
so this was asked already, but it's fine. We'll answer this again, Craig. Just came in. What's the time frame of for pickup if I order?
a processor you're going to be into end of July, early August, and a splitter you're November of 2022. We're hopefully going to move that up quite a bit here, but right now that's what we're telling guys. Kind of worst case scenario would be November of 2022. It's not this November, the following November.
Yeah, and that could be shortened up with your add-on moving to the new building as well, right?
Yeah, that's exactly. Like I just, if you've been following along, I bought Bell's fiber processors there a couple of months ago, 2.5 months ago, and the big reason for that is just to have the room to expand my business and build machines quicker and faster and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, and he's saying for an Ultra, but every
You,
splitter just gets put in line.
that's exactly, like as splitters are ordered, you're literally the next guy on the list.
Buckin, he says this is for being consistent posting content. He's terrible at that. One day at 7, next day at 9 p.m. It's tough.
But it's always there. It's always there, though, Bucket. It's always there. That's the main thing. Oh, and it's hard. It's hard to do that. It really is hard to get into a routine of doing that, especially like I know myself. Like a lot of the times, I'll do 2 videos in a day.
Yeah.
So like I'll do like a Tuesday video and a Thursday video, both on Sunday, and you get excited about one video, or you get like excited about both of them that you want to put both of them out on Sunday night. You know what I mean? Like that's like the worst part of that is like I can't wait till this goes out to see the response on it. Like it's that's the hard part for me, anyways. Especially if you've done a really you've done a really nice job editing it. Like that's that's my big thing. I've got Premiere Pro on my computer here, and I really enjoy doing that and kind of seeing what I can do with it, and it's sort of like a challenge or a game, right?
Yeah. So Steve Billow, he's my buddy in Indiana. He works for Logger Wade. If you ever heard of him on here.
Oh yeah. I've watched a little bit of Logger Wade stuff. Really good stuff.
So Stevie, he runs the Din a lot on his crew.
Oh,
He does hand felling on his own, but he loves getting building saws, and yeah, that's his deal. So if you like watching that stuff, Stevie's your guy.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah. Kenneth was saying he splits about 4 cords a weekend or more. He's the guy looking for that splitter. So
yeah.
And William Klein, he says just buy the biggest you can afford.
Yeah, and honestly, guys, like depending on what your budget is, like with buying one of these splitters, you're not like I know we've talked about this a little bit before, but you're making an investment, and like a lot of the guys that bought splitters 2 years ago are able to sell them for more than what they paid for them now. Like and like that's not a case for a handful of guys. Like that's the case for almost anybody that bought a Eastonmade 2 years ago. They can sell it for $500,000-$600,000 more than what they paid for it. And people don't mind paying it just because of the quality of them and the lead time on them right now. So it is an investment, but it is going to be something that's going to be paid back to you anyways. So
yeah, it's an investment that holds its value very well. So.
Yeah.
Lucky Monkey, thank you for partnering with Ohio Woodburner, Hometown Acres, and Buck and Billy Ray. This has helped me make my decision on my next splitter.
And it's been really great to have these guys. Like it's I'm really fortunate that I'm in a situation and in a time where there are Joes at Ohio Woodburn, Adams Hometown Acres, and Buck and Billy Rays to help me grow this, because otherwise it'd be very difficult to do so, especially in the day and age that we live in. So I'm really fortunate to have these people to help me out and portray this in such a great light. So.
And they do a very good job at it too.
They do an incredible job. Every one of them.
Yeah. There was GP Acres on there as well, I guess, right?
Yeah, GP Outdoors on there.
Or Outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon does a good job.
Yeah. Joe's Firewood, Joe's Premium Firewood. Just subscribe to Skitter Kev, another Canadian channel that I will support. I'm in Michigan, so we're neighbors. Eastmade Ultra rules.
Yeah, you're probably not too far from him. You're probably only about 4 hours from him, I would think. He's if I remember right, Joe's not too far from Kalamazoo. If memory serves me right, I think Joe's in the Kalamazoo area,
Yeah, I'd have to
just
pull
outside.
Google Maps there, but yeah, probably not. And thank you, Joe, for following, subscribing. Kenneth, thank you for pointing me in the right direction. I watch both your YouTube channels. Well, thanks, Kenneth.
Thanks a lot, Ken. I hope that helps you out, and like we have lots of videos on the Eastonmade channel on the different splitters and kind of the ins and outs of them and what hopefully will work best for you, because it's really hard to say until you get using one, and depending on the guy, his personality, what he expects out of it's really a hard thing to say this is going to be right or wrong for you, honestly. So
Yeah. Joe, you got that right, Andrew. Wood trees in the forest are much higher quality than residential trees.
100% there. That the tree service stuff is always harder stuff. Even stuff that's looks great. This tree service stuff, it's still not. It's still a lot harder. But I got a whole pile of ash one time. They took down in the city of Ottawa from the Emerald Ash Borer, and it was probably some of the worst splitting wood I've ever gotten. It was ash, like just like terribly dense, hard stuff. It was like splitting a rock.
We've had some like that, and it's string. We've had stuff be stringy before, like almost splitting elm.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what this was. And the whole load was like that. Even this stuff that like didn't look like it had a knot or anything in it was just horrendous to split. And I don't know why. Like it just, it was kind of interesting. I did a couple of videos on and put some pictures up on the on some of the firewood groups there, and nobody knew what it was. And it was ash. It was just terrible,
Yeah.
terrible stuff to split.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit, like mixed in with some of our stuff, and there's just no rhyme or reason why it's like that.
Yeah.
And Buckin, he's saying people take themselves pretty serious, not me. And some
I
people
don't
do.
blame. I don't blame him a bit. I don't get too excited about a whole lot. It takes an awful lot to get me wound up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Give me a second.
Iron and oak, tough keeping up with editing your YouTube videos. Very time consuming, but will work. But well worth the work. Try for one a week, and I'm the same. One a week's enough for me for time wise. Should probably do two, but getting good video content and editing time is tough for me. So I stick with one a week and try to be consistent. And this will be my one a week.
Yeah, like it is tricky to do it. It really, really is, and it's funny because you would know yourself. Like I have lots of buddies that are like, "Oh, what are you doing? Why are you taking so long doing that? Why are you jumping into the tractor 500 times?" And it is. It's just time consuming. There's a lot of work that goes into it because you can go ahead and make a video that's just me splitting wood or whatever. It's the same as you run the processor or skid steer or whatever, but that's not that interesting, right? You want to have some sort of a storyline or a timeline to it or whatever, and that's kind of the big thing. Like if you look at, I actually, when I first started doing this, I watched a lot of different videos, a lot of different people that had opinions on them and how to do it. I watched Casey Neistat a lot. If you've ever watched him, he's a skateboarder guy. And I didn't know him at all before. I literally stumbled upon his videos, and between him and Nick Naiman were kind of the two guys that I kind of watched a lot in terms of structuring videos and how to make them and how to do them, and it helps out a lot doing it that way. So
yeah, you can watch a lot of videos, but you see the guys that are doing well, and those are the guys you want to watch and why, and see why they're doing well. But
yeah, and it's funny how different videos do better too. Like I find like myself, I will have a lot higher retention rate. I've done a handful of videos where I'm actually in just my speed shop here, drinking a beer and working on my old truck, and my retention rate for people watching it is far higher than if I did a wood splitter video, and it's literally just me talking and just giving my opinion. I don't really know why it's so interesting, but
Don't try to figure out the algorithm because you can't.
I don't know either. I guess I enjoy doing them. Like I really do, because I want to try and help people as much as I can, and I've been pretty fortunate. So if I can pass that along, I'd like to be able to do that.
So Vulcan asked, why the small push plate on the Ultra? And that was for safety, not getting your hand caught on that, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Joe, he's 3 hours to Windsor. So Windsor, yeah, he's 4.5 hours, 5 from me approximately.
Yeah, probably in around there. I can make Port Huron in about 6 or 7 hours. Is kind of where I would be there.
Buckin, you are the first and only channel we have done this with, and completely humbled and grateful. I think I actually tried to talk you out of
it. Well, I really appreciate that, Buckin. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day and doing it. It means it means the world to us, and like I said, I really appreciate all the support from you guys, and what the Buckin Army has done for us. Like, it's amazing that there's that many great people in the world, and it takes a guy like Buckin Billy to bring them all out.
Yeah, yeah, he did. That was a great job, sharing and helping out. That's for sure. Jeremy, such a great stream. Call us at Eastonmade'S so we can help you guys get set up with a splitter or processor. And Jeremy is the guy you call and talk to when you want to order one.
Mm-hmm. He is a sales guy. If you call Bell's, he is who you will be talking to, and he's an exceptional human being. He, like I said, I've got an incredibly great bunch of guys, and incredibly fortunate to have them. And Jeremy's probably one of the longest employees at Bell's right now, actually.
Yeah. What's tougher to deal with, tree service wood or the trolls?
I'm not quite sure. It's funny. As I get older, I find I try to be as polite as I can in with people, and I find I have a lot less patience than I used to. I don't, in terms of trolls, I don't really pay much attention to trolls at all. But if somebody somebody calls me just to give me a peace of their mind or whatever, I normally have a pretty strong opinion on that. So.
Yeah, most of the time. I had one guy that just wouldn't go away. And I've only blocked 2 people on my channel, and he was one of them, and it just drove me nuts. But moisture and firewood, that was his biggest gripe.
And I don't know why people are so hard to get along with either. Like, because everybody's got a different opinion on things, and like I don't think there's really a whole lot of right or wrong to it. Honestly, it just you may as well take what you can and take and learn the good out of whatever you're doing or whatever you're watching, right? So
yeah, or if you don't agree, just
keep going.
Yep. Holy cow, Buckin! Wow, thank you so much. That is crazy.
Well, that means the world to us, Buck. That the support from you is just that's incredible. That completely and totally means the world to us.
Yeah. Buckin, I was like, an Axeman, right? Good night, fellas.
I think me and Bucket had that conversation actually. Thanks for everything, Bucket. It means the world to us. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your night and joining us and supporting us here. Hopefully we're going to make this a regular occurrence every month or something. To do a live stream like this where we're shooting the shit and and hopefully answering people's questions and helping them out. So
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe we need to make it twice a month because we're like over 3 hours. We, divide it and actually make a time limit on it. To Brad Lloyd, I've actually talked to him for a bit, but just recently discovered the YouTube thing in this community. So many great people with so much wisdom. And you're 100% right, Brad. It is crazy. When I started YouTube, I never thought I'd end up where I am today. It up until about 4 years ago was when I noticed it and started how it started to change and making friends and growing, becoming that community. So it's great. What else do we got here? What wood splitter would you recommend for a wood business or a bundled wood business?
Either a 1222 with a box wedge on or an axis. Those are kind of your two options for that, and depending on that would be the way to go with it. Both machines are going to do what you need them to do. The axis is going to be a lot more precise, but it's going to be slower. It's about going to a vertical machine about 3 times slower than a horizontal, and that goes for whether it's my vertical or competitors or whatever. That being said, you get a level of precision that you don't get on a horizontal splitter.
Vulcan, I also like watching people do skid loader work. Well, I probably do a little bit more skid steer work than you, but yeah, you want to watch skid steers log and you subscribe to Skidder Kev, you'll see him.
I'm really good at moving logs around on the skid steer, not much more than that. I see guys with the skid steers they can like drive at 100 mile an hour and make something flat as a pancake. That ain't this guy.
Iron and oak sawmill, tough choices now. What goes on the sawmill and what goes through the splitter?
I bet you would be. I bet you would be kind of a tricky thing there. You'd be picking and choosing anyways. So
here's James. There was a thread where a guy had been his 2228 and finally came out that he rented the unit out. He was complaining that you were helping him.
Yeah, I tried to do my best for him. What the hell was the lad's name?
I remember seeing that too.
Oh, I can't even think what the lad's name is now. Dodge, maybe. Was his last name Dodge? I don't know. It was a couple of years ago, and it was an early 2228, and we were just trying to figure out how we could best help the guy out, and he just kind of went off the deep end on us there. Like I don't typically a machine like this, it wouldn't be something you'd want to rent out. The new ones are heavy enough now that you're never gonna hurt one, but you got to be conscious of what you're doing too. Like you can wreck any piece of equipment, but like I said, the newer ones are pretty well bulletproof. But in that scenario, like I was more than happy to help that guy out and get him going and get him new parts. And even at the end of it, he still declined it. I'm not quite sure why. And the timeline, I thought we responded in a kind of timely manner to satisfy him, but I don't know why it escalated to that level. I think the guy's name was Tim Dodge, maybe, if I remember right. Can't remember where he was from, maybe Illinois area somewhere, but just a difficult person. I don't know why people are like that either. Like things are going to go wrong every once in a while, and I tried to do my best to satisfy the man, and it just didn't. He didn't like that, so.
Yeah, some people want it yesterday and just can't. Just lose their top, and they just can't. Be a little bit patient.
Yeah, and I don't understand it either. I really don't. I don't get it. I don't get it why people are so terribly high strung. I understand you pay good money for or something, but it takes a little bit of time to rectify a situation like that too, and I'm more than willing to help him. I think ultimately what he wanted is wanted me to give him a conveyor and a bigger machine for the one machine, and it just doesn't work like that. So I think when I told him no on that, he just didn't like that. He didn't even want to pay any difference on. He wanted the conveyor and the bigger machine for literally nothing, just to shut him up. So
Yeah, that's a bit much, I think.
no, that's exactly it. I don't mind having a little give and take, but that's a little extreme.
Yeah. Well, how about we do a couple more questions here, and I think we'll call the night for this. Do you think you ever make a bundling machine? And congratulations on the new baby.
Oh, thanks a lot, Craig. No, we will in terms of a bundling machine, like to make the bundles. Probably not. Maybe in the future, but it's I think it'd be a very difficult thing to make and it be really consistent. Like in terms of making a machine to make bundled wood, like a kindling machine, we are going to do that in the future. But in terms of something for actually making the bundles, I don't know if there's a really good way to do that. Maybe if if I have an epiphany and it pops into my head, I'm not quite sure. But for right now, I can't see it happening.
Where do you get your steel from? I'm guessing Canadian steel or U.S. steel or Chinese.
Yeah,
steel?
almost all of it's Canadian or US.
Nice, and it's actually stamped right on it.
It is, yeah.
I
Like
know
when it comes into the shop, it's all wrote right on it. Everything's trackable, traceable, right to the right to where they mined it. Honestly, if you wanted to go back that far.
Yeah. James, your customer service during that interaction was what convinced me to spend the money with you. So there's the guy knows he's getting good service buying a machine.
Well, thanks a lot, James. I really appreciate that. It was a pretty stressful thing for us, but I think the biggest thing is you got to play your cards face up, and it is what it is, right? So
Yeah. Andrew got about 5 hours on my 12 and
22.
STK convert. Yeah, 12. Yeah, it must be 22. And STK 24, but it's better than I could imagine.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Mike. Here, I got something just for Mike. Yeah, he'll like that.
I remember seeing that in the video too. Didn't you have that in the video?
I did.
Okay.
That's a shirt that Mike give me, and it actually is probably one of my favorite shirts. It's a very comfortable shirt. Mike hauls up in Baffin Island. He was showing me the pictures of the trucks that they run up there,
Yeah.
and they're just incredible. It's just amazing to see the size of the trucks that they run up there. There's really no laws, right? So you just
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
We'll call this one the last question. Can we expect a 60C to push a block through a 12-way wedge similar to a 2028, or would it be faster? I've noticed a 1228 slow down on cycle time.
No, it'll be just it'll be fast. I'd say probably three and a half seconds through it, and it won't even visit.
Stevie, you're late. Come on, can you not charge your phone? We're wrapping this up. We've been here for 3 hours and 18 minutes, and you just show up now. Really, Stevie? Sheesh.
It's terrible.
So, yeah, let's we'll do it another one in a month.
Yeah, sure, I'm
What
up
do you
for that.
think?
I
say it went
100%.
all right. You know, we were 3 hours, over 3 hours. So, yeah, I think things went well.
Yeah, I think so
We'll
too.
expect more.
I
We still have 50 people. So that's been, I call that a success. And everyone stayed here this long. So,
we must have been half interesting, you and I.
yeah, I would think so. And yes, Wild Bill, we will give you a heads up. There was a heads up for this one. Hopefully you got that because it was all over Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. So hopefully you got all that. and click the bell buttons on either one of our channels, and you'll get that notification as well.
Yep.
But all right, we're going to call it a night. We'll talk to you all later. And if our questions, if you had another question or get another question, write it down. We'll have another one of these and you can ask it then. All right, guys. Thanks. Have a great night.
Thanks for everything, guys. Appreciate it.
Night, guys.